Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quartet Lesson 9, Part 1, Practice Live Stream.
はい、こんばんは。
こんばんは。
みんな元気かな?
Good to have you guys here. Tonight we're going to be practicing くらいに違いないたとしても noun and なんか、
はい、
いったい a question word and sometimes か and verb 1 か verb 1ないか. Those are the things we're going to be practicing tonight. If you were here for the live stream, you may know that I was having some issues with exhaustion last weekend, and it led to me cutting the section 5 and 6 completely from the recorded version of the live stream. So if you've watched, I'm sure you haven't if you were at the live stream, but if you've tried to watch the full live stream, you'll notice that sections 5 and 6 are missing. I've cut them completely and re-recorded them for the stream cut, which is probably not live. I should make that live after this, but it's live for any members, I guess. Which brings us to the fact that this live stream is sponsored by the members of ToKiniAndy.com and the Patreon. Thank you so much for all of your support and the members of this YouTube as well. These are the colors we use for the grammar streams. We have light blue for the grammar points, and all of these colors are for words that haven't shown up yet in Quartet or Genki, but that we think are important enough to show, and we point out what JLPT level they may appear on. That's not important to the extent that is our first section with kurai. But first, this is a live stream, so let's go ahead and say hello to everyone. Come to Japan. Dan was the first one here. He said, if you are here early, go check out tons of bonus grammar content on beginner to intermediate Japanese premium. Thank you very much, sir. ToKiniAndy.com. The first person here was Tom-chan. こんばんは。
こんばんは。
Good to see you.
黄色のバッジになってしまった。
そうですね。毎回ちょっと進化してきています。ダシエル、こんばんは。
はい、こんばんは。
のやび、大気、いいですね。
はい、
はい、
こんばんは。
こんばんは。ありがとうございます。マイコ says、あらまあ。今日は報告忘れていないぜ。電報さん、こんばんは。How's it going? Good to see you. バイオリンガイ、こんばんは。今日は書けませんけど、聞きます。はい、わかりました。Nights 1980, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. So, just to confirm, we are live, right? Because this is not, we don't want this to be the second time that I forgot to click go live and we talk for 30 minutes to an empty screen. I'm pretty sure we should be live. Everyone seems to be responding. So, all right.
こんばんは。
はい。
コンテンツのやつってもうアナウンスしました？なんかリリースデート。コンテンツのやつ。
ツイッターとかどこでもにもアナウンスしてるから。うん、
じゃあもうみんな知ってるかな？
リリースするときにはもっと細かく話します。
はい。
よかったです。ありがとう。Super Live. Sweet. Good to know. やった。ライブストリームに入ったことができたぞ。
お、ようこそ。
Livio, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Yes, 2/22/22. If we were releasing it on the 2nd of February, we'd be in trouble because we are not there yet. But yes, on the 22nd of February 2022, we are releasing hopefully most of the first, at least Genki one's streams, not streams, I'm sorry, study by Grammar Point on the website. That's something that's coming at the end of this month for anyone who's a member on the website. So look forward to that. I know I am.
Hi.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. We can talk more when the question is already on screen. The first section from last week was, we've already taught these, but to the extent that with kurai. So this isn't the normal kurai that we learned in Genki, which just means about this much or something. This is a little bit different. It means I did something to the extent that whatever comes before kurai. So the verb in the dictionary form or in the negative, the adjective on its own, non-adjective needs the na particle between it and kurai, and a noun on its own with kurai. We have one example. We've been giving you one example during the practice streams just to sort of refresh your memory, but we don't actually teach the whole thing. That was last week, so go check out that video if you're wondering. But anyway, the first sentence, or the only sentence we're going to show you tonight is
明日の遠足は眠れないくらい楽しみだ。
I'm looking forward to tomorrow's field trip to the extent that I can't sleep. So the thing that they're doing here is 楽しみだ. They're looking forward to the topic 明日の遠足 tomorrow's field trip. So how much are they looking forward to it? 眠れないくらい about to the extent that they can't sleep. 眠れないくらい. So that's how we use this くらい. The first question time, it's from last week as well, is
〇〇は信じられないくらいアジェクティブですという形で文章を作ってください。
So please make a sentence like this. Something something is an adjective to the extent that I can't believe it. So for example,
E メールは信じられないくらい便利です。
so email is so convenient I can hardly believe it. And
ジョジョは信じられないくらい面白いです。
Jojo is so interesting or funny that I can hardly believe it, or to the extent that I can't believe it. So how about you give us something that is so something that you can hardly believe it. How's it going, Felipe? Hola, hola.
こんばんは。
こんばんは。
みんな日曜日だね。
ね、most people are Sunday morning, some people are Sunday evening, I think.
いいな。もう終わっちゃうよ、日曜日が。
そうだね。Although our 日曜日 isn't really much of a...
そう、日曜、まあ、オフデーではないよね。
No, it's just a normal day.
うん。
Sunday. Saturdays are our off day. Recently, at least.
ね。
But, はい。
はい。
ユキは何かある？信じられないくらいもの。
近くにできた寿司ボール屋さんは信じられないくらい美味しくて安いです。
そうだね。So Yuki said that the sushi bowl, the sushi don or sushi bowl place that just got made right next to our house practically is so good and so cheap. She can hardly believe it. It's true. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a sushi bowl. It's rice with sashimi on top of it. And, well, different things you can put on top of it. But it's like 600 yen, so like $5 for like this giant bowl of just amazingness. Amazingness. We've been eating there quite a bit.
ねえ。美味しいしね、ほんと。はま寿司さんに申し訳ないよ。
ね、全然行かなくなっちゃうんだね。
ね。あんなに行ってたのにね、はま寿司に。
ね。そういえばじゃないけど、tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
そうなんですよ。
Anyone have any plans for tomorrow? For Valentine's Day?
ね、私もプレゼントもらう準備はできています。
いいですね。
いつでもできています。
Early morning here in New York City and it's snowing. Oh, nice.
寒い。
New York City's close to where I grew up. Pretty close, like an hour away. So it must be snowing back at home as well. I'm not jealous, although it's been snowing here plenty, so we're right in there with you. Yesterday was pretty nice, though.
そう、だけど、さっき外行ったら、雨降ってたよ。雨っていうか、みぞれかな。
へえ。そうなんだ。I'll be celebrating Valentine's Day by going to work. All right, it's a great way to celebrate. Making money. はい。いいですね。俺はね、
もう言っちゃうんですか、それは。
文章。
はい、Q タイムね。
よくわかんない言ってること。俺は、なんだろう。はい。俺はユキが言えそうにあんなにハマって信じられないくらい。それ逆。ユキは信じられないくらい言えそうにハマってしまいました。
はい。そうなんですよ。
それぐらいかな。
でもハマっているってあれ普通のバーブだからアジェクティブじゃないんですけど。
いいんじゃない？
先生パワーでねじ伏せてきた
いいんじゃない？明日一日中オンラインクラスです。大変です。
オンラインゲームじゃない？
オンラインクラスですね。
オンラインクラスをやりながらオンラインゲームもやる感じじゃない？
それはいけないですよ。学べなくなっちゃうんだよ。
そうだね。優等生だもんね、マイコ。
そう。
ねえ、そんなことはしないよね。えらい。はい。
It's kind of a difficult.
It's kind of difficult to make sentences.
For this one maybe.
So
it's all free. The only part we've got for people there is the 信じられないくらい. Everything else is just completely, you have to imagine a situation.
ごめん。
いや。
じゃあトピック決めるか。バレンタインは
信じられないくらい？じゃあ、the topic, if you haven't already started working on a sentence, is バレン タインは信じられないくらい
うん。まる
something
まる。
〇〇 anything is fine doesn't even have to be an adjective バレンタインは信じられないくらい〇〇です Of course if you're already in the middle of a sentence and you just haven't finished writing it yet you don't need to change it just because we've gone ahead and changed the topic don't worry about that ね
あと、なんかあるかな。
いやいいんじゃない1個でバレンタインは信じられないくらい
ドキドキです。
そうバレンタインは信じられないくらい割と難しい
あ、じゃあやってるか。じゃあ、バレンタインは
we got one はいありがとうございますフィリペ
ゼルディの話してないなんか。
そうっすよ
ブレスオブザワ
私たち
イルド
うん
ゼルダ
そうだよ
あ、
ブレスオブザワイルドって言うよ
あ、そうだったんだ。
はい
ブレスオブザワイルドは信じられないくらい楽しいです。
ですよね
本当
本当に
本当ですよ。
最近全然やってないんですけど
ねえ。
はい
私はね、一回だけプレイしたことありますけど、だいたい見るだけです。
うんそうだねでもそれも楽しい
そう
らしいはいマイコ
正直そうしたいです。あ、
ル
オンラインゲームだ、
ね
でも休みは信じられないくらい長かったので、自分を甘やかしすぎるわけにはいきません。
偉いね
すごーい甘やかしたい
So
な。
Michael also wants to play does actually want the truth is honestly that he wants to play games during class but the time off was so long he could hardly believe it and he was too easy on himself or so he can't go too easy on himself basically. Nice Dashiel
はい。無印良品のペンやシャープペンシルは信じられないくらいいいです。ねえ、いいよね。
使ったことない
そうそう、結構ね、デザインがまずシンプルだからさ、なんか使いやすい、なんかフレンドリーだし
ペンとシャープペンシルがいいの
そう結構ね、スムーズに書けるし
そうなんだ
なんか安いのにね結構いい感じだと思う、
そうなんだ使ったことないんだ
そうあんまりね買わないからね無印良品、
高い安い
いや安いと思うよ。
安いんだ
そんな高くないはず。だってまた私たちは無印良品の歯ブラシ立てを使っています。
We use a 無印、holder for our toothbrushes in case you're wondering.
そうそれがねいいそれめっちゃいい。
There's one right in the station in the basement of the station. I guess of the building attached to the station, right in the middle of Nagano City. So we go there once in a while. But it's kind of like you kind of forget about it because it's in the basement. But the biggest one in the country is the next prefecture over in Niigata. It's only like an hour from here. But it's huge, right?
あ、そうなの？
上越じゃない？
無印が？
の一番日本の中の一番大きいやつは。
あ、知らない。
新潟じゃなかったっけ？
そうなんだ。
だと思う。
あんまりね行かないんですよ。ていうかね買い物にあまり行かないから多分あんまり行かないだけで、
そうだね。
そう。
We have not played the newest Pokemon game, Felipe, although it does look very interesting. It looks a lot like Zelda, so I was tempted to give it a shot, but Yuki and I have instead become addicted to ESO, which is what the next podcast is about. It's a bunch of gameplay from us playing the game, but we're talking about it in Japanese, so it's a podcast. But then over the podcast, instead of our faces, because you get to see those enough, it's our in-game character faces. So that should be fun. All right, our next question time is...
体に変化があるくらい〇〇ですをしますという形で周りの様子を説明してください。
So please make a sentence about just something basically that causes a change in your body, or basically your body is what this says. But anyway, the example sentences are a little bit different. So let's go ahead and take a look.
はい、眠れないくらいアニメの続きが気になります。
So I'm so I always forget a good translation of 気になります. I'm so invested in wondering about the continuation of the anime so much that To the extent that I can't sleep.
はい。やめられないくらいフライドポテトは美味しいです。
So these French fries are so delicious, or fried potatoes, so delicious that I cannot stop, to the extent that I cannot stop. All right, we have some questions. Hello.
ハロー先生。I'm still up to
そこじゃない。もっと前ですよ。
はい。
Enjoy its niigata. Oh, really? How nice. Sick. So, I can't read. I'm assuming that's Dutch, but
本当だ。
thanks for stopping by, Amsterdamage. Livio says, 韓国語の文字は日本語の文字に比べて、this is actually question time in the last section.
本当？
お願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。韓国語の文字は日本語の文字に比べて信じられないくらい簡単だと思います。
I've heard that it's quite easy to learn Korean, the alphabet, not the language necessarily, but yeah, the alphabet is much easier than kanji, that's for sure. Although
日本の文字だからひらがなとかじゃない？
そんなことないと思う。
そう？
ひらがなとかより簡単じゃない。
コリアン。簡単じゃない。
漢字の話、絶対漢字の話。
そうなんだ。漢字の話なんだ。
だって普通は使わないでしょ、漢字。韓国で学ばなきゃいけないけど使ってないでしょ。So in Korea, most people have to learn kanji when they're in school. They learn kanji just like in Japan. They're quite similar actually. Most people's names are they have a kanji name and stuff, but they don't actually read in kanji. And I feel like most people can't really read it, but I don't actually know.
漢字とかカタカナとか。
Katakana is a pain in the neck, but hiragana is probably, I wouldn't say hiragana is more difficult than Korean, but I'm not sure. Hello, Sensei. I'm still up to Quartet Lesson 2. I have to catch up on the topic ASAP. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. You're not that far behind. Lesson 2 isn't so far away from this. And the way we cover each lesson, if you're already on Quartet 2, you can probably keep up with us here. But thanks for stopping by. Sweet.
はい、ありがとうございます。
はい。
そっか。
ちなみに結局2番目もアジェクティブでしたね。でもやめられないぐらいか。信じられないぐらいじゃなくて。はい。
その体に変化があるくらいってその、
emotional change or physical change。
そうそう。
はい。
あと目が回るくらいとか。
until I get dizzy. Some kind of physical or emotional change. Which emotions are quite physical most of the time. So makes sense. That would be how you would say that.
はい、じゃあ私一つ。
はい、お願いします。
一つとか涙が止まらないくらい切るのが難しい玉ねぎです。
Are your tears not stopping because it's so hard to cut them? Because it's so hard to cut it? Or are they not stopping because you're cutting it?
そう、オニオンね。そうそう。
もう一回文章お願いします。
そう、オニオンです。
違う。もう一回。
涙が止まらないくらい切るのが難しい玉ねぎです。
だからその玉ねぎは切るのが難しいから涙が出てる。それとも切るときに玉ねぎだから涙が出る。
そう。
でいくとその文章はなかなかわからない。
じゃあ難しいんだな。
わかるけど。Is that the passive form? Is which the passive form? What she just said?
眠れないとか。
That's the potential.
そう。
Potential. So can. You're gonna often have potential forms or passive, not passive, intransitive or potential verbs. Mostly potential, I guess. With this kurai. So to the extent that I can't do something is very, very common with this structure. So these are all, potential. I find Genki not the best learning method for me. Is there another book you recommend? I can read hiragana and katakana and about 40 kanji so far.
Oh,
nice. Good. なるほど. Can you turn the sound down on your computer? Because I can hear it in the speakers. I can hear myself talking in the headphones. I realized something was weird there. I kept hearing myself. I was like, who's talking outside of our window? I thought somebody was literally right outside the window talking, and it was just my voice in the live stream.
すいません。
I've done a review of the new Tobita, but it's pretty much the same as Genki, to be honest. There's some very minor changes. But I don't know. If you don't really like Genki, you're probably not going to like many of the textbooks that are available for Japanese because they're just really not that different. They're all kind of the same. If you don't like textbooks, you can honestly just skip them. I mean, if you found this channel, I don't know if you've just found this channel and you're coming to ask this question, but if you're watching the videos on this channel and finding those helpful, you don't necessarily even need the textbook, to be honest. If you really don't like the textbook, that's fine. We cover the same grammar points. It's not exactly how it's covered in the book. And, some people like having the book to go back to for certain things. But if you don't like textbooks, there's nothing wrong with that. There's lots of other ways to learn without textbooks. So I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but I don't really know that I have a better textbook to recommend. Because from what I've seen so far, they're all basically the same at the moment. That's why eventually I want to turn my website into sort of an interactive full textbook on its own, that without any connection to Genki anymore. Eventually, one day. But that's a little off in the distance. All right, Michael's sentence.
はい。これはね、Qタイムじゃないよ。体に変化がある。変化があると読んだときは、なんか新しい腕が生えたみたいなの話題かと思いました。
なるほどね。はいはいはい。
そう。まあね、ミュータントになるでもいいんですけど。
How is Hodo related to this grammar point? For example, why am I yawning so much? I'm not really that sleepy. このラーメンは死ぬほど美味しいですよ. Sorry if there's a question that comes a bit out of the blue. It's not. Somebody asked it on the live stream as well. It's a natural question to ask with this one. They're very, very similarly used, except they're basically the same, except for two different things. For starters, kudai is a little more casual. Yeah, hodo is a little more formal. And there are some idioms that use hodo for which you could not use kudai. For example, shinu hodo nemui or shinu hodo onaka suiteru. I'm so hungry or so sleepy that I could die. You have to use hodo with that. You can't say shinu kudai something something. So there's some idioms basically that use hodo where you cannot replace them with kudai. Otherwise, they're basically the same in usage with kudai being more casual. Okay, thank you. I know it was a difficult question and as Genki is standard. Dankajuel. I can't read Dutch, but I'm almost 99.9999999% that means thank you. So you're welcome. And sorry I couldn't give a better answer.
私はまだ最初のさ、コメントにつまずいてるのに。
The first sentence is Hallo, ik kom uit Netherlands. So I'm from the Netherlands, I think. And speak nog niet zo good Japanese. I think that means I don't speak very good Japanese. Groet uit Amsterdam. Greetings from Amsterdam is I think what that means. I think. I don't know. That's what I think it means.
すげえ。私まだあそこでつまずいてるってことはさ、もうちょっとでさ、コメントがさ、上に行っちゃって見えなくなっちゃうよね。ありがとうございます。
It would be way easier to learn like a European language than Japanese, that's for sure. If I can look at that and get most of it sort of right, it'd be so much easier to read.
なんとなく
Oh my
私
god,
が
I
分か
feel like I
る
should
の
learn
は、
German or something.
なんかネダランドとエンスプリーク。でもノーグニエツゾーとかわかんないから、でもなんかジャパンズって書いてあるから、なんかのことをい
いね。
でも、グローエンチェンはグーテンモルゲンみたいなやつ
That would be good morning. But...
だけどアムステルダムは読めるよ。
はい、Michael's question time.
はい、
I think it's question time. ぐらいって。
はい、くらいって文字通りに使うんですか？やめられないくらいとは確実にやめられないと言うんですか？でも死ぬほどとは確実に死ぬわけがないということですか？そう まあね、なんかね、なんて言えばいいんだろうね。まあ言ってしまえばメタフォーの一種だよね。比喩表現だから、まあ誇張表現というんですか。このぐらいなんか本当に死ぬわけはないんですけど、死ぬほどって言った方がまあso bad感がある
It's
という
metaphor.
か
It's basically
そう
being
そう
used as a metaphor.
でやめられないくらいってもう自動的にもう手がこう動いちゃうマシンになるくらい、まあ本当は動かすのを止められるんですけ
Yeah,
ど
but you're able to. You're not literally unable to. So it's being used mostly as a metaphor. So not literally cannot stop.
うん
Not literally unable to sleep. Like you probably could fall asleep eventually. You probably will be able to sleep, but to the extent that to the point where I almost can't sleep or something. So like a metaphor mostly.
そう
うん
なんか気持ちの表現だよね。まあ眠れんそうだね。そうそう気持ちの表現だね。
Looks like my Dutch was close.
本当
Or
にそれで
I think that
Here
means
go the better
I'm not sure about that, but I'm assuming it means that I did okay in
私
my
最後
guesses of because not translations, just guessing.
わかん
what it
ない
meant.
んだな。
Good
Heal-
means good.
そうなんだ。Heal good vegetarian みたいな感じ
Not
Better.
definitely not vegetarian.
だって better
Vertald は vegetarian には近いんですか V 以外のところ。Anyway. はい。
はい。
とにかく、やめられないくらい
あ、そっか、それも
ユキが作ってくれたバレンタインのクッキーが美味しいです。
ありがとうございます。
やめたくない。美味しい。
ありがとうございます。
ユキ made me cookies for Valentine's Day. I'm looking forward to that.
まあ明日なんですけどね。
But I may have already ate two. Happy Valentine's Day to me! Woo woo!
それみんなさ、どう思ってるの？なんかそのさ、なんかあれアンディだけクッキーもらってる。なんでみたいな感じじゃないのかな。
まあとりあえず私たちは俺だけもらってるとかっていう話は一切してないので、
あ、そっか。
別にそこの部分分かるわけないので変とかだなって思うまではねいかないんじゃない？私たちの情報わかんないじゃん、それに。
そっか。
はい。
そうだね。それは来週を乞うご期待で。
Dutch is a mere category 1 language, 600 hours. You could learn it in no time. German is category 2, 750 hours. Japanese category 5, 2,200 hours.
それ。
It's because of kanji.
あーへー
And grammar is opposite of English.
へー
Not opposite, it's just very different. That makes sense. Maybe I'll try to learn one of them someday.
なんかさ、300時間ぐらいでできるやつはありますか？
それはないかな。カテゴリー1は600時間だったらさ、それより早いやつ。エスペラントかな。
何エスペラントって？
でも日本人には簡単なのかな。Excuse me. エスペラント is a 人工言語。
ゲームオブスローンズのやつ？
いや、なんか誰でも簡単に学べるように作ったやつ。全然そのファンタジーの世界とかには全く関係ないと思う。
あ、そうですか。
そう。
はい。
世界中の人たちどこでもの人たちは簡単に学んで簡単に会話できるように作った言語だと思う。エスペラントって。Apparently it's easy. はい。じ
ゃあ Q タイムは
この Q タイムは
みんなの肌に合わなかったと。
そうみたいです。Our next section is there is no doubt that with に違いない。So に違いない means it is definitely the case that something. This is quite an easy one. It's verb in the short form plus に違いない, adjective plus に違いない, adjective plus に違いない, and a noun plus に違いない. It's definitely the case there. Or there's no doubt that something happens. Remember, we already taught these last week. So we're just going to give you one example sentence to refresh your memory. The first one is, or the only one is,
はい。佐藤さんは休日さえ会社に来るから相当仕事が好きに違いない。
Sato even comes to work on the weekend, so there is no doubt that he likes to work a lot. So Sato-san wa, Sato is he's the topic. 休日さえ, so even on days off, 会社に来る, he comes to the company. So, から、相当 means a lot. 仕事が好き, so he likes work. に違いない. There's no doubt about it. Alright, so the first question time is?
はい。誰々はいつも〇〇1しているから〇〇1が大好きに違いない。
So basically the same as the last sentence. So someone is always doing this, so they must love it. There's no doubt that they love it. That kind of thing. Okay, this one is?
はい。サイキクスオはいつもコーヒーゼリーを見ているからコーヒーゼリーが大好きに違いない。
So Saiki Kuso, he's always looking at coffee jelly. So he must love coffee jelly. There's no doubt that he loves coffee jelly. はい、next one is?
ミカサはいつもエレンを追いかけているからエレンが大好きに違いない。
So Mikasa is always following after Eren. So there's no doubt that she loves Eren. I don't know much about Attack on Titan. Eren is the main character guy, right?
そうそうそう。
Right. So there's no doubt that she loves Eren. Okay, so you're going to make a story basically. Who is always doing this, so they must love this. Right. I believe we have... バレンタインでチョコをあげる伝統は日本しかないと思いますね。ここは単に恋人と一緒に一日を過ごすだけですね。Really?
やっぱり
In the States, I think we give chocolates or flowers generally, but it's the guy gives them to the girl. And then they might go on a date or something. In Japan, it's just chocolates. That's it. There's nothing else.
まあ最近はね、クッキーも流行って、
that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
マシュマロとか。
I'm not being specific about that. I mean, it's just giving someone sweets, and that's it. There's nothing else special about Valentine's Day in Japan.
クッキーだからとかじゃ
特にそのチョコにこだわってたんじゃなくて
あ、そうっすか。
甘いものを誰かにあげる。終わり。
はいはいはいはい。
じゃないかな。
そうだね。
日本だと。特にみんなデートとかしているんじゃないじ
ゃん。違うね。
それはクリスマス。日本のクリスマス。Japan's Christmas is kind of like an American Valentine's Day is what I feel like. Somehow. I don't know how the hell that happened, but somehow Japanese Christmas became like American Valentine's Day.
ってことは、ケンタッキーフライドチキンに行ってるってこと
No. That part is not right. But we're talking about couples.
あ、そう。
Kentucky Fried Chicken is families on Christmas. じゃない？
パパも食べるよ、きっと。
いや、結構デートしに行くじゃん。
だけど、
なんかまだ若い、結婚してないカップル。クリスマスはデートの日じゃないですか。
うん、そうだね。
本当は。日本だと。
うん。確かに。
うん。
いや、今年は結構カップルもドライブスルーでケンタッキーフライドチキンに行ってたと思うんですよ。
そうなんだ。
だって予約いっぱいって書いてあったもん。
まあそれはそうだけど、僕はいつもパソコンの前で日を過ごしますので僕はパソコンが好きに間違いあるまいです。まあそうだよね。俺もパソコン好きです。きっと俺も明日一日パソコンの前に座っています。Except for when I go to the gym.
me too しか言えない。でもこれは me three？me
three になるんだよね。
me three か。
はい。
はい、me three です。
Tomorrow's just go to the gym. We have to get you new shoes for running for Valentine's Day.
ね。
And then sit in front of the computer all day, working on videos, as always, except for Saturdays, recently.
はい。
はい。Me for
結構多いな。
パソコンの前に座るだけの人が多いな。
でも日本人はね、結構パソコンの前に座らないと思うんだよね。紙の前の方が多い気がするんだよね。
そうだね。紙と電話。
確かにね、紙と電話と
電話があって
そうそう
紙があって
ファックス
たまにパソコン出して
そうそうそう
30分
立ち上がるまで
Windows が立ち上がるまでは
そうそう
30分ぐらい待っててで
それ
30分の仕事して消すまでね30分かかるからそれ片付けてまた紙の前で人に電話したりするんだよね。
そうだよね。
それは日本の常識。
我々はパソコン派ですって書いてある。
よしパソコン派。
チームメカニックだわ。
May I ask your recommendation for the best book for learning kanji? If you want a book, the best book is pretty much
あれじゃん。
remembering the kanji.
あのボロボロのやつじゃん。
It won't teach you the readings and stuff, but it'll teach you the meanings. And then I generally recommend that people start reading stuff and picking up the readings that way. If you don't mind a monthly thing, a lot of people these days really, really love Wanikani, but that's a website, not a book. Either one I can heartily recommend, I think. One book that a lot of people recommend to me, but that I haven't actually gotten to try myself, is Kodansha's Kanji course. There's quite a few people, it's a book, quite a few people on my Discord who use that and swear by it. I always give that as a disclaimer though. I have never touched it, so I don't know if it's great or not, but I have a lot of people who I trust who have recommended it to me, so I assume it's pretty good, but I don't know for sure, so I generally don't give that as one of my full recommendations. Remembering the kanji and Wanikani, I can fully recommend. Kodansha's, a lot of people like. Something to keep in mind. Yes, some people do say that remembering the kanji lacks context, and it does, but that's sort of its strength, in my opinion, because let me think about this for a second before I say what I'm trying to say. For English speakers, at least, we've only ever used Roman characters. We've never used something like pictographic or anything like this, like kanji. So we don't really have anything perfect to compare it to, I feel like. So it's really, really hard for people coming to Japanese for the first time, and Chinese, I imagine, as well, to learn kanji. It's very, very difficult to remember them. And a lot of books that teach kanji in context, so to speak, they don't really give enough actual context for the kanji themselves, if that makes sense. They don't teach enough about the radicals and how you build the kanji and how to look at the kanji and how to remember them, which makes it very, very difficult for a lot of people coming from at least Western languages that don't have these kind of symbols. I don't think very many languages actually have these kind of symbols. Modern languages that I can think of. There's Chinese and there's Japanese, and are there any other languages that use pictographs in modern languages? I'm not sure. Someone let me know if you know that. Anyway, what remembering the kanji is so great for is that it teaches you about the little pieces of kanji and how to look at them and how to remember them. So you're not going to know how to read every kanji when you're done with remembering the kanji. But you're going to have a huge step up on the people who are just like brute forcing kanji in context. And I think you'll arguably be able to pass them quite quickly after you've learned how to memorize kanji, how to remember kanji. So I think it's very, very useful for that. What Wanikani kind of does a little bit better is that it does give you the context on top of the way that remembering the kanji teaches it. But it's also a lot more expensive. And a lot more time consuming. So there's sort of that. It takes you like at least minimum a year to finish Wanikani, and you can do remembering the kanji in 3 to 6 months. So sort of, I recommend trying them both. Remembering the Wanikani is free for the first 3 lessons, so you can try all 3 of those. And then if you really like it, you can keep up with it. And if you don't, then maybe check out Remembering the Kanji. You can find Remembering the Kanji just on Google. It's not even a legal one. They just have the first few chapters for free, I think, on Google. I'm pretty sure it's not illegal because it's like a university website or something. So take a look at those. I highly recommend at least looking at both. Wanikani is good, but requires a bit of discipline to study content every day and then do your reviews. Yes. And I feel like, do you have to type in answers on Wanikani? I feel like I'm not a huge fan of that. I used to really like it, but when you get large amounts of reviews, just I know it or I don't. I feel like it's way better than having to type things in. Personal preference there, but I guess Wanikani is great. It has the SRS system already integrated, so you don't have to do that on your own. In addition to that, it also gives you words. Yeah, so it does give you the context there that is missing in remembering the kanji. But some could argue that actually separating those out is not necessarily such a bad thing. If you learn German within 750 hours, I don't think you'll be good at it. Fair, but...
Hi, Lumpy.
How's it going, Lumpy?
あ、
Yeah.
あとパルさん。
Paru question. と違いない versus に違いない. What's the difference? と違いない。Is と違いない a thing?
と違いな
I don't
い
think
は
と
あるの
違い
か
ない
な
is a thing.
と
と違う
と違わないかな
that's different. と違わない means not different from. But that's just the negative of と違う. 何々と違う. This is different from that. 何々と違わない is not, this is not different from that. But に違いない is completely different. It just means there's no doubt that something. We're going to move on to the next question. Just because I don't think we're going to get too many answers for this one. If you're still working on an answer, go for it.
はい。
はい
ごめんね、みんな難しかったんかな。はい。あなたはボックスの中のものを触って何が入っているかを当てるゲームをしています。
Okay, so you're playing a game right now where you put your hand in a box, you touch something, and you try and guess what it is. You're playing that game in your head. Ready? And this is how you're going to tell us about what you're touching.
はい。その触ってるものにね、〇〇があるから〇〇に違いないという文章でボックスの中身を当ててくださ
So
い。
the thing I'm touching has this, so it must be, or there's no doubt that it's this. For example.
はい。ふわふわで長い耳があるからうさぎに違いない。
So it's fluffy and it has long ears. So there's no doubt it's a rabbit.
はい。長い棒と丸いところが2つあるからメガネに違いない。
So there's long sticks and two circle areas. So there's no doubt it's glasses. So you can make up an imaginary story here. Hi, my name is Colby. I just started learning Japanese recently, and your video have really helped me understand the language a lot more. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. The PNW boys. Keep it up. And I hope that we can continue to help you. That's awesome. Thanks for stopping by to say hello and let us know. Always appreciate that.
Pennywise Boys?
You're welcome, Amsterdam Damage. Nani?
あれ
The PNW boys.
あれ、Pennywise ってバンドネーム
Pennywise のバンドもあるし、ホラーのスティーブン・キングの It っていうホラーの本の、悪いキャラの
のことを
PNW。Pennywise。
へえ。
PNW は Pennywise じゃないと思う。
そうですか。そうですか。
それはどこから出てきたかわからない。
ごめん。はい。
多分 Pennywise じゃない。
そうですか。
ごめん、ちょっとお茶取ってくれる？
はいはいはい。
すいません。
やばい、これでトイレに行っちゃったらさ。
しょうがないよ。
私考えてるんですよ。何をショートスピーチしようかなって。
Yuki's very worried that I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. I always end up going to the bathroom once in the middle of a stream and leaving her here on camera, unsupervised, and she doesn't know what to talk about. So make sure if that happens, you guys help her out.
なんかさっきのさ、
はい。
漢字リメンバリング漢字の話になるんですけど、そのワニカニとかってさ、私やったことないから、どういう漢字かわかんないけど、なんかそのさ、なんか辺とさ、なんか神尿とかいろんなパートがあるじゃないですか。パーツがあって漢字って、なんか
radicals。
へえ。でそれをなんかそれ一つでもなんか漢字になるやつが結構いっぱいあるでしょ。
はい。
でそういうの なんか私がねその小さい時小学生の時にさ、漢字勉強した時とかってなんか木が漢字の木がついてるから、何かその建物のこととかに関係がある言葉なんだなって想像したり、
そうだね。まあ、if you know the radicals, you can remember that kind of stuff easily.
とかなんか言うっていう漢字がついてると、何かそういう話すなんかステートメントとかスピーチのことに対して、関係がある漢字なのかなみたいな、そういうのがさちょっとわかる、なんか
You keep saying that when you know certain radicals about kanji and there's one that shows up in the kanji that you don't know, you can sort of guess that this is probably about some kind of thing. So when you know how the kanji are built and all of the radicals and stuff, instead of just memorizing them one by one and as a standalone, you can sort of guess what the meaning of words are just based on the little parts of kanji, even if you've never seen the kanji before. So yeah, it's very helpful. It means the Pacific Northwest, like Washington State area. ってことでした。ペニワイズではなく。
ごめん、ありがとう。説明してくれてありがとうございました。
Yes, Wani kanji teaches radicals. Yes, I know.
ありがとう。
So my kanji reading is better than my grammar. Fair enough. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you. Michael has our first question time in a long time. How's it going?
はい、しまった。フィルに挨拶してた一人ね。ボックス的な形をしてて、上に複数のボタン的な押せるものがあって、そのボタンを押すとチクチクみたいな音をするので、カスタムメカニカルキーボードに違いないです。
すいません、俺のカスタムメカニカルキーボードがうるさくて。I was trying to log into Wanikani so I could show you guys and Yuki what it was like, but I could not remember my password. I've tried every password that I've ever used, and none of them worked. So I don't know if my account got deleted or what, but yeah, instead you got to listen to my keyboard. Here, I'll give you a little bit more.
それ求めてるかな本当に打ててるのか心配になるよね。はい。
はい。
マイコ大正解です。
俺も好きです。I'm waiting on some new foam to come so that I can modify my keyboard.
すごい。ランダムスクイードさんが来たよ。
ランダムスクイー
ド？そう、ランダムスクイードさんがランダムに来てる。
時間を止める
これ
力があるから、ディオに違いない。
ダワールド。
いや、ジョ太郎かもしれないよ。
ザワールド。
彼もザワールドを使えるからね。じゃじゃん。So I'm gonna put on this new plate.
おもちゃ自慢してる。
As soon as my foam shows up.Hopefully tomorrow the foam should show up, and then it'll sound even better. You guys watching the 2022 Japan Film Festival?
なんじゃそりゃ。
I have no idea what that is. Yes, indeed, Phil. Yes, indeed. Doing good, Phil. ASMR says come to Japan. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Japan Film Festival. We don't watch a lot of movies, unfortunately. We don't really have time.To sit down for 2 hours and watch something. It's very rare. When we do have that time, we're either at the gym or playing a video game.
そのプレイングビデオゲームの時に行けばいいのではって思うよね、みんな。
To see the Japan Film Festival? Maybe. I don't know where it is. I don't know. Are there supposed to be some good movies there this year? We have a cue time from Felipe. It's online. Oh, okay.
ネバネバの感触があるから納豆に違いない。何を考えますか？やべえ。
はい。So it's got a sticky neba. I don't know if we really have an English for that, but it's like a sticky, stringy consistency.
Slimy じゃない。
Slimy maybe. Consistency. So it's without a doubt natto. Oh my god. Felipe's worried about what else it could possibly be. There's a trailer on YouTube. Okay, I'll have to check that. We'll have to check it out sometime. Once again, we don't have that much time to watch movies because we're always making these lessons. Always. All the time. And when we're not making these lessons, we're trying to make new stuff because we're so far ahead that we've left like 30, 40,000 people behind in the beginning stages with nothing new to show them. So we got to make some new stuff soon.
頑張ります。
頑張っています。The next video is finished. We just got to finish the practice video that goes along with it. Should be fun.
あとはセットして GO や。
Yes, and get the website ready.
はい。
To go.
スターチプラチナザワールド今日見たよ。今日見たばっかり。
We've been watching 2 episodes every day. We watch 1 episode at lunchtime, 1 episode at dinner time.
そう。
1 a day, 2 a day. Slowly working our way through Josuke's story.
ねえ。
It's
そう
fun.
だから久しぶりのねザワールドだったんですよ。
So the world was 久しぶりだったね。I like this season. The season's pretty good.
ねえ、ジョウスケね、フレンドリーだよね。ジョウスケが一番フレンドリーだと思う。
ね、一番普通、except for the whole hair thing. All right, good. So we've got a couple answers there. If you still want to answer, feel free to continue giving answers and we'll answer any of the questions that you have. But we're going to move on to the next section. The next section that we covered last week is even if something were the case with たとしても. たとしても is made by taking the past tense of a verb in the short form and adding としても. E adjective in its past tense. So, for example, 楽しかったとしても. So even if it was the case that I enjoyed it. An adjective plus だったとしても. And nouns also take だったとしても. During these practice streams, we give you one example sentence from the last live stream. That sentence this week is...
はい。結婚したとしても、この会社で働き続けたいです。
Even if I were to get married, I want to continue to work at this company. So 結婚したとしても, even if I were to get married. So this is a hypothetical, right? It's usually a hypothetical with たとしても. この会社 at this company で, so utilizing this company or at this company, 働き続けたいです. I want to continue working at this company. Even if I got married. So the first question is...
はい。年を取ったとしても、〇〇をしたいですという形で文章を作ってください。
So even if I were to get older or get much older, I still want to do this thing. That's the kind of sentence we want you to make for this one. And the first example is...
年を取ったとしても運動を頑張りたいです。
Even if I get older, I want to continue working hard at exercise. Next one is...
年を取ったとしてもスカートを履きたいです。
Even if I get older, I want to wear skirts. So how about you? What do you want to do even if you get older?
アナウンスに遅れてしまったとしてもシーズン2の始まりには間に合いたいです。
あ、でもさ、もうシーズン1見終わったでしょ、間に合ってるでしょ。
だけどシーズン2のさ、アナウンスが、
呪術廻戦
そうそう
was announced last night. When is it releasing?
わかんない。だけどリリーシングはさ、
We
まだ
never
向
went
こ
to
う
see the
でしょ。
movie, and I never watched past the third or fourth episode that I watched during New
あな
Year's.
たはね、
I gotta
私は
catch up.
もう大丈夫ですか
まあ
ら。
そうだね。Dan saying he hasn't watched the movie yet.
私はレディトゥーゴーですから。
2023. Okay. So there's a long time in 2023.
来
Wow.
年じゃん。
来年。それがアナウンスに入るかな。It's a
で
disappointing announcement, I feel like.
もアニメのアナウンスってそんな感じだよね。
そんな感じなんだね。
って働く魔王もさ、なんか出るよ出るよ詐欺だよね、もはや。
それはいつ出るの
2022と言われ
ってて
いた。
言ってるんだ。楽しみ。その前には全部の本も読み終わっちゃいそう。Although there's no 働く魔王様 on Audible. I'm super bummed. They've got all the overloads. All the overloads are 読み放題 on Audible. No 働く魔王様。
残念だね。
I wanted to listen to that one. Oh well.
はい。
はい
年を取ったとしても、
はい。
チョコレート食べたいです。
そうだね。俺は一番が俺のかな。年を取ったとしても運動頑張りたいです。そしてゲームをやり続けたいです。年を取ったとしても50歳のアンディはまだまだゲームしたい。
そう
60歳になったとしてもESO みたいなゲームを
できるかな。
やりたい。 いや、できるだろう。こんなん。だってさ、
もうテクニカルディフィカルティになっちゃう体が。
でも今の60代の
フィジ
人
カルディフィカリティ
今の60代の人は子供の頃じゃないかもしれないけど20歳の頃は最初のゲームが出始めたんじゃないですか。なんかポンとかさ、その人たちにそのゲームをやってもらっなんかやってみてって言ったら絶対できるでしょ、
まあね、
今でも。だから、
まあね、
多分私たちは6代10代になったとしてもできると思う。
できるかな。もう目が
2023はもう
来年
そう
まだ過去に残っています。まあ体がね時間が進んでるけどね
まだその格好にね、そう2023年に対しては格好に今残っています。That's fine with me. We do not need to rush to 2023.
私もまだ過去に住んでるからね、ほんと。
あ、そう。
割と。
なんで？
なんかパソコンの使い方がわからなくて
そういう面でね。はいはい。
そう。
なるほど。I always have weird thoughts that retirement homes in the future will have to have video. Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. I can't imagine that not being the case. Retirement homes in like 20, 30 years, I feel like are going to have the PlayStations and Xboxes of those days and like a gaming station. It's like, if I go to a retirement home, I want to make sure that I get a gaming computer in my room or a gaming station for sure.
私がこの前話したニュースのさ、年を取っちゃったさ、一人暮らしのおじいさんの、そのボケ防止のために、バスの運転手だからおじいさんにあれドライビングゲームを買って、
実際に使えるやつ
で、ボケを防止するみたいなの。
To protect from sort of dementia. There was a story in the news recently in Japan about how an old bus driver, I guess his family, he lived alone, so his family bought him, or someone bought him like a driving game for driving bus. You know, they have those driving simulators and things, so they bought him that with the actual like steering wheel and stuff. So like video games can definitely help prevent dementia, I imagine. Like in people, especially when they're really old and they live alone. Like, of course, that makes sense to me. I remember the story, there was a fun story about a grandma who lived alone and she had like 3,000 hours in Animal Crossing or something. That's cute. A little sad as well, but cute. Because her grandkids didn't live that far away, I don't think. But I feel like they should have gone and hung out a little bit more. But yeah, but I read somewhere that it's good at keeping your brain sharp. There's a team of Gigis that play professional Counter-Strike. What? That's so cool.
Team of Gigis?
Old men. Gigi. 日本語ですよ。Gigi. That play professional Counter-Strike. 面白い。
Team of Gigi っていうんだ。
Bendakt for Julie Hoop Totzins. That one I'm lost on. I had the other sentences. I had a general idea of what you were saying, but this one.
私は
thank you for the.
そうだった。
Business Force Julie Hoop Totzins.
ベッドタイムじゃない。
It could mean thanks for the help. See you later.
マジそういうこと？
Could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's my guess. Maybe. One day, some older taxi driver asked me if I played God of War. He said he was playing games to keep his brain sharp, and he asked me how to pass some specific part. That's awesome. そうだね。I imagine that's true.
やばい、読めない。まさに婚姻上前かな。なんて読むんだろう。その四字熟語が読めません。すいません。
It doesn't show up either.
検索やこれ。
Let's look it up. When Michael passes native Japanese people. 出てこね
え。やっぱり婚姻上前なんだ。どういう意味なの？
婚姻は
なるほど。
月日の経つのが早いこととの例え。
はい、ありがとうございます。婚姻矢のごとしと読み下すんだ。それ漢語だわ。私不得意。全然できない。
漢語って何？
チャイニーズ、そのさ、オールドジャパニーズのさ、漢字だけのスタイルのやつがある。
はいはい。
で でしょ、石とかによく書いてある。
Okay, so this is from old Japanese, basically, yeah?
そうだけど、まあ、チャイニーズかもしれない。
It's from Chinese originally? Okay, interesting. Thanks for your help. Bye. Wow, I was right. Wow. I should learn Dutch. I feel like I could pick that up pretty fast.
すごい
I could probably read a Dutch book in like a month.
私全然ダメなんだわ。
Maybe I'll learn Dutch. That could be fun.
誰？ダンと俺？
ダンは話せないと思うよ。He used Google Translate, I think. Anyway, QJ, I'm not sure if this is okay. 年を取ったとしても。
はい、ありがとうございます。年を取ったとしても、納豆を食べる機会を、
いらない。
欲しくない。
欲しくない。
納豆を食べる機会が欲しくない。
機会 means opportunity. So, you don't do an opportunity. Opportunities exist. They just exist. There's no real verb, except for maybe to have one. ある。So, 年を取ったとしても、you could just say 納豆を食べたくない。or 納豆を食べる機会を逃したいとか。
が欲しくないとか。
欲しくない would be fine. Yeah, I don't want it.
まあ、本当は納豆を食べたくないでね。
四字熟語のデックを、はいはいはい。いいね。
それ私もやった方がいいやつじゃん。それ私やった方がいいやつだよ。
There's probably a lot of words that a lot of people, Japanese people don't know in 四字熟語 decks. I've seen a couple pop up.
やばい、マイコに負けちゃう、このままじゃ。もうしりとりですでに負けてんのに。
いや、しりとり、しりとりね。
もうね、どんなに頑張っても無理。
Dutch from zero stream. That could be fun. Although I'd probably just go full immersion to learn Dutch. Like, why, if I can read it, why bother with? Maybe read a little bit of grammar, learn a couple quick words. I bet you I could pick it up pretty fast. Oh, we've got one from a random squid.
はい。
Always glad to have a random squid in the chat.
ありがとうございます。
Where's a random octopus? Make it a full house.
年を取ったとしてもミントチョコレートのアイスクリームばかりを食べたいです。
Even if I get older, I want to eat nothing but mint chocolate ice cream. いいですね。
すごい変わったものが好きだね、ランダムスクイットさん。
My mother's favorite ice cream is also mint chocolate.
そうなんだ。
I don't really like it. Like if there's nothing but that in the house, like I'll eat some, but I think it's mostly the chocolate chips in mint chocolate chip ice cream that I don't like. I don't like chocolate chips in ice cream because they're so hard. They just get stuck in your teeth. They don't really seem to serve a purpose in ice cream.
私が嫌いなところそこじゃないわ。
味？ミントの味。
なんかどうしてもね、歯磨き粉味な気がしちゃうの。
でもミントの味あんまり好きじゃないんだよね、ゆきが。
そう。
あんまり。
だから歯磨き粉もね、ミントじゃない、ミントの味が強くないやつじゃないと。選んでいるね。そうそう。なんか気持ち悪い。ごめんね。ごめん。悪口言ってごめん。
はい。Okay, the next one is.
はい。難しかったとしても、ミントチョコレートを食べるのを諦めません。
Why? So this is an example of the sentence you're going to make. Even if it's difficult, I will not give up doing something. That's the kind of sentence we want you to make. So for example.
はい。すいません、皆さん。
いいよ。
難しかったとしても、マラソン大会でゴールするのを諦めません。
So even if it were difficult, or even if it is difficult, I will not give up making it to the goal at the marathon.
はい。難しかったとしても、大盛りのカツ丼を食べ終わるのを諦めません。
Even if it's difficult, or if it were difficult, 大盛りのカツ丼を食べ終わるのはokay, so I will not give up eating the omori is extra or a large bowl of katsudon. Katsudon. I won't give up not eating it all, basically. It's hard to translate that into nice English quickly. 大盛りのカツ丼を食べ終わるのを諦めません. I will not give up finishing eating this giant bowl of katsudon. はい。Michael has another question time.
はい。 年を取ったとしても気軽に話せる僕の友達がいてほしいです。
いいですね。
真面目なやつだ。
いいんじゃねえか。Even if I get older, I want my friends who I can talk to easily to stick around. 気楽に話せる僕の友達がいてほしい。
いいね。
いいね。
私もいてほしいな。
難しかったとしても、明日9キロぐらい走りたいんだな。走るのが諦めません。
はい。
諦める部分をやめた。難しかったとしても、明日9キロを走る。9キロ走るのを諦めません。
はい。
まあ、8、9キロ。
頑張ってください。
時間があるかわかんないから。それが一番難しいところ。Just stopping by to say I just started doing my first VN. 9人9時間9時間9人9扉。Is that part of the second part or something? While setting up Text Tractor and the Yomi-chan Anki combo, I use Yomi-chan with Netflix subs to SRS before, but your vids helped me a lot. Happy to hear that, Eric. Enjoy 9時間9人9扉. We played to the first game. We played to the end of the first ending. We didn't do any more endings. I think I went back and did a little bit of another branch, but we only played to the end of one ending. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. We were sort of on the edge of our seats a little bit, like what's gonna happen? We want to keep playing. But then when the first one ended, we were like, we got a bad ending. The first ending. I feel like if we got a better ending, we would have probably kept playing, but we don't have a ton of time to play games, so like at the end of that ending, we were just like,
And
then we never went back to it.
なんだよね。ランダムで行くと。
That's good, but I'm glad. I hope you can get a lot of use out of Yomi-chan. Makes VNs and games in general a lot easier. All right. Sick. ね、最近は俺 VN は全くやってないね。
そうか。
まあまあやりたいんですけど。
最近やってるのなんて ESO しかねえじゃん。
いやだけど日本語的なことといえば俺は Audible and reading. So I've been just doing audiobooks and reading along with an audiobook. So I'll listen to an audiobook when I'm running, so that's about an hour, a couple times a week. And then whenever I have time, or when I'm driving, if I'm driving. And I'll read along with a different audiobook. So I'll be reading a different audiobook. So I listen while I read through it. And then I just stop to look up the words I need on my iPad. So I have them both open on the iPad. Excuse me. I finally figured out how to install other dictionaries on the iPad because the built-in dictionaries in the Amazon Kindle iPad app are terrible. Absolutely atrocious garbage. They're the worst dictionaries I've ever seen in my life. Terrible. Absolute garbage. They're so bad though. So bad. So I was able to install my own dictionaries. There's no websites online that tell you how to install dictionaries onto the iPad Kindle. So I had to figure it out myself. It was super easy. Subs to SRS. I used to use that when I was studying Japanese a long time ago. I forgot about it, to be honest. Subs to SRS. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think it's similar. It takes like things out of games and like screenshots or something and puts them in Anki decks. I can't remember exactly. The Android one too is terrible. It's probably easier to put the dictionaries in the Android one though. To put them on the iPad Kindle, I figured out I needed to download iTunes because I didn't have that. And then there's like a hidden setting where you can go into the apps like within iTunes, and then I was able to just drag the dictionaries into the Kindle app. I can't even remember where I found it, but it worked. And now you can go directly into the dictionary while you're reading on Kindle and iPad. You go into the dictionary, and then you can look up words in the dictionary. So you can use J to J. Dictionary is much easier. And it uses Bing. I'm going to have to see if I can hack something together. Oof, that's rough. 体調が悪くなってから1週間前ですけど、あれからずっと読書や勉強全然していません。
あららら。
まあそれは許せますよ。もう結構頑張ってきたので、具合悪い時ぐらい休んでください。
はい。お大事にどうぞ。
お大事にしてくださいね。 Alright. 今日はね、答えが
そうだ
ちょっ
ね。
と難しいね。
難しい
かな。やっぱり今後はもうちょっとなんかパッて
そうか
答えられるやつにしとかないといけないかな。
そうだね。
しといた方がいい。だって
ランダムスクイータさんがランダムに来た。ありがとうございます。難しかったとしても、ジョジョを全部読むのを諦めません。
頑張ってください。
素晴らしい
Even if it's difficult, I will not give up reading all of JoJo. Nice. ジョジョの漫画といえば、アニメを過ぎてる？
全然過ぎてない。全然過ぎてない。
漫画がずっと続いてるでしょ？アニメがまだ追いついてないよね。
そう、まだまだ全然。
全然。
うん。
全部読んでる？
読んでない。
読んでないの？
読んでない。
アニメしか見てないってこと？
そう、アニメしか見てない。漫画はちょっとしか読んでない。本当に。
そうなんだ。珍しいね。ユキはね、アニメ気になると、なんかアニメの続きを気になると、漫画を読むんだよね。
そう、読んじゃうんだけど、でもね、ジョジョはね、やらないね。
読んでないんだ。面白い。
やってないわ。
まあでも、シーズンが終わると大体なんか、綺麗に終わるんだよね。大体のシーズン。
まあね。
So I guess that makes sense.
そう。なんかラスボスがいて、大体ラスボス。
and they beat it. Or they die. みんな忙しそうですね。バレンタインの準備だったりでしょうか。
そっか。
いやー、そんなことないんじゃないかな。
そう
いや、多分、あんまり想像を使わなきゃいけなくなると、
やめとこう。
疲れるだけではなく、出てこないじゃん。パッと出てこないんですよね。なので、やっぱりこれがあって、これに対しては何を答えてもらった方が、わかりやすいかな。
はい。頑張ります。
よろしく。
すいません。
Are you still teaching the Genki textbook? Not at the moment. I finished Genki 1 twice. I did the whole thing twice. I finished Genki 1 once, and I'm happy with the Genki 2. Finished Genki 2 once. I'm happy with those streams, and I'm just leaving them there for now. I finished most of the content on the website for Genki. I finished all the planned content for Genki. We're doing bonus videos now for the Genki series, but we finished Genki 1 on those, and we're halfway through Genki 2 in the bonus series. I'm going to be restarting beginner stuff, but with our own stuff. We're not going to be using a textbook for the new beginner stuff. The new beginner stuff is going to be sort of going places the textbooks don't go, or in a little bit different directions, or just covering the same topics, but in more detail or hopefully a little bit more fun. So no, I'm mostly done with Genki. Have you ever considered doing manzai? I haven't because I'm not funny. I wish I was funny, but I'm not very funny. いいよ。
面白い時もあるよ、漫才って。
違う。俺が面白くないって話。俺がコメディは向いてない。
でもさ、まあね、確かに。多分、でもそれはなんかさ、漫才ってそのさ、アメリカのスタンディングコメディとかとは違ってさ、
もちろん
必ずなんかボケる人がいて、ね、それに対してなんか突っ込む人がいるわけじゃん。
もちろん。
そのさ、ね、センスを理解しないと、
It's very difficult.
そう、面白くないし、自分もできないと思う。でも私はなんかボケてるんですけど、結構割と、なんかね、気づいてもらえないから。
そう。Yuki messes around like that on her own a lot, but then the people around her don't tend to realize she's joking. So she's trying to make constantly her own manzai series, I feel like. But not just me. Nobody around realizes it. So she's sort of just lonely on her own in her little manzai world. I wanted to switch to Japanese from zero. You're certainly welcome to. I've heard good things about Japanese from zero. I've never really watched any of the stuff myself. But apparently George is a pretty good teacher, so if you find Japanese from zero works better for you, that's perfectly fine. そうですね。さっきから答えが出てこないんです。ミュータントの文も思いつけませんでした。いや、大丈夫ですよ。
申し訳ございません。
I'd see you two on the podcast.
ありがとうございます。
Yeah.
ありがとう。
The next podcast is going to be fun. Tomorrow's podcast. I'm
そう、
looking
明
forward
日
to that
は
one.
ね。
Tomorrow's podcast is fun. The one next week is going to be, I think the next one is fun. It's good.
なんかゲーム、そう、それはポールがあったから、先週のやつ。
Yeah, you guys all answered on the poll last week,
そう。
what you wanted us to do for the podcast. And you said gaming. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago. So we talked about a game. They have a podcast. Yes, we do. Bada Blakey says, Bada
ゲームじゃないと思って
Blakey!
るのかな。
こんばんは. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream.
こんばんは。お疲れ様です。
Right.
なんかみんなダダダダってしてどうしたんだどうした
俺もダダ
いきなり
ダダダします。はい、OK. So the next section is the likes of with noun plus なんか. Of course, we've already covered this. Just a quick review. We've got noun plus なんか. And it means something like, or generally speaking, it's indicating that what it's talking about is sort of negative. The person thinks negatively of that thing. Generally speaking, not all the time. There are some other situations where you can use it in like a jiman banashi, something where you're boasting or proud of yourself. There are situations where you can use it like nado, etc. But the one taught in Quartet is the one that indicates everything before it is sort of negative. The person thinks negatively of those things. So you have noun plus nanka. It will replace any wa, ga, wo particles. But if the particle that would go after the noun, whatever the verb coming after this is going to be, if it needs a de, ni, or to particle, you're going to need to keep those particles. We've got one example to show you just to remind you about last week. And this one has a de particle, by the way. And that is?
はい。外でなんか遊びたくない。ゲームしたい。
外で遊ぶのも楽しいじゃん. So this is, I don't want to play outside. I want to play a game. Huh? Playing outside is fun too, isn't it? So 外でなんか. So this なんか is indicating that this kid doesn't think very highly of outside. I don't want to play somewhere like outside. ゲームしたい. I want to play a game. And the parent says, huh? 外で遊ぶのも楽しいじゃん. Playing outside is fun too, isn't it? So the first question time is,
たとえ地球が爆発しても〇〇なんかしたくないくらい嫌いなことは何ですか?
So what is something that you hate so much or hate to do so much that even if the world, for example, was going to blow up, you still wouldn't do it? Like even if you could save the world from blowing up. I imagine there's not many things that anyone here hates so much that they wouldn't do it, even if they could save the world from blowing up. But if the world were going to blow up,
みんなセイバーだよ。
just for example,
みんなセイバーなんだよな。
talk about that thing. What is the something you don't want to do, even if the world were going to blow up? So for example,
はい。たとえ地球が爆発してもサービス残業なんかしたくない。
For example, even if the world were going to blow up, I do not want to do something like, is there not enough oxygen in this room? I do not want to do something like working overtime for free. サービス残業 is working overtime for nothing. なんかしたくない. I turned the heater off a while ago because it was just going on and on and on and on and it was getting sleepy. But we should probably turn it on. It's getting quite cold in here. That could be it. The next one was,
たとえ地球が爆発しても白子なんか絶対食べたくない。
even if the world were to blow up, I do not at all ever want to eat something like shirako. So how about you? Something that you hate so much that you wouldn't do it even if the world were going to blow up. Good after evening. Good after evening, Bada. お願いします。
はい、つけてきますね。
It has gotten pretty cold in here. I guess that could be a part of it. I've never yawned so much on a live stream in my life. It's so weird. I'm not even sleepy. I slept plenty last night.
アフターイブニングの人元気？仕事終わりってこと？
知らんよ。
あ、そう。だっていつもなんかナイトシフトじゃない？
そうだね。いつもじゃないと思うけど。
そう？
はい。Yuki, yes, how you doing? You okay? She said, did you just finish work? でもさ、それだったらさ、夜勤じゃないじゃん。だってオーストラリアはそんなに時間離れてないじゃん。
まあね、4時間アヘッド
そう
じゃない？
For example, 2時間 ahead だよ。
本当だ、2時
そんな
間ア
に違わない。
ヘッド。
まあ、Sydney is 2 hours ahead. I imagine there's a couple time zones in Australia, but I'm not sure.
はい。
ね。
みんな地球を救ってくれてありがとうございます。
そう。俺は白子なんか食べたくないんだけど、地球が爆発しそうで、なぜか俺白子食べれば爆発しないのなら、頑張って花をこうやってして食べる。一口で
もし
飲み込む。
さ、白子食べても爆発しちゃったらどう？
食べないよ。
食べないじゃん。
だってさらになんか爆発しそうだったら嫌なことやりたくないじゃん。
まあね。
なんかしたいことやりたいじゃん。爆発しそうであれば。I wouldn't want to work for free either. I'd be welcoming in the nuclear apocalypse in a heartbeat. Word. I don't like bologna. I won't eat it even if the world blew up. Fair enough. Nice. I haven't had bologna in a long time.
Bologna?
It's a type of sandwich meat. We don't have it in Japan.
へえ。
bologna.
まずいのそんなに。
I don't think you'd like it.
嘘。
I don't hate it. It's okay.
これさ、日本に売ってるハムみたいじゃない？
It's not ham though. It's like a giant hot dog. Is what you could think of it like. It's okay. It's okay.
まずいの
I don't think you've ever eaten this. I don't think you've had this before. I feel like you can't get this in Japan. It's a very distinct. You're thinking salami.
違うよ。だってさ、じゃあ日本で売ってるさ、ハムみたいなのって何？でも
Ham.
このに打つやつ。
Well, that's ham. This is not ham. This is bologna. Bologna is practically fake meat. In fact, it's so practically fake meat that there's an expression in English, an idiom, it's not even an idiom, it's just a word. It's baloney. That's baloney. And it means the same thing as that's bullshit. Same meaning. So saying something is baloney means it's exactly the same thing as saying that's bullshit, except it's not a curse word. So that gives you an idea of what bologna the meat is like, because that's where the word comes from.
じゃあプラスチックみたいな感じってこと？
The original spelling of bologna is bologna. That's the real spelling of it.
Bologna?
It's the Frankenstein of lunch meat. Yes, Vichy Bauer, how's it going? Bologna. Good evening, Makui. How's it going? So, bologna is actually spelled bologna. But the famous brand of it is this, yeah?
Bologna?
This is the classic brand. And they spell it this way. But some places will spell it correctly, like this one. Bologna.
まずいの？
人それぞれだと思う。Almost worse than spam. I think spam is much better. Like, I'd rather eat spam. Spam is... I mean, I don't really want to eat spam, but it's actually popular in Okinawa. Spam, like really popular. And certain Okinawan dishes... I used to work at an Okinawan bar in this city, in Nagano, because I wanted to practice speaking Japanese, so I started working at this bar just to practice speaking Japanese. And I guess the cook, he had lived in Okinawa for a while, so he was really good at cooking Okinawan stuff. And one of the dishes was something with spam in it. I can't remember the details. This is many years ago, and I drank way too much awamori when I worked there. But anyway, it was delicious. Absolutely delicious.
なんかさ、卵と一緒に
No eggs.
あ、そう。
It was like the bitter green Goya and spam and some other stuff. It was really good. But anyway, yeah, bologna is not that good.
なんて言うんだろうね。ゴーヤチャンプルーかな。
ああ、そう、それかも。ゴーヤチャンプルー。それ。それだった。
そう。
ゴーヤチャンプルー。
書いてくれてある。
そう、それ。
ありがとうございます。
ゴーヤチャンプルー。It was that. It was that. That's it. You guys got it.
なんだろう、ごめん。
After a long night at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. when I was done working at the bar and had like, I was gifted like 4 glasses of awamori. Be like, I need to eat something before I go home, and he'd make me goya champuru. Perfect. I used to cry when my mom gave it to me all. Pronunciation would be something like Bologna. It should be. Yeah, something like that. But it's not. Spam emails, yeah. I wonder, I'm sure there's a story as to why those 2 words are the same. I wonder what that is. The only way I ever liked bologna was a fried sandwich. Yeah, that's not so bad.
ボローニャって感じ
It's
なの。
bologna, but the way it looks like it should be said. Bologna or Bologna. That's what it looks like it should be. Or maybe in some languages it even is. But in English, it's bologna. All right. We got some answers to this question in English. Good morning, ETT. How's it going? But yeah, I could go for a fried bologna sandwich every once in a while if there was a little bit of cheese on it. It's got to have some cheese on there. All right, our next one is...
〇〇準備練習などなんかしなくても〇〇をできますという形であなたのできることを自慢してください。
自慢話をしなさいよ. So please go ahead and brag about something, or at least just tell us something you're proud of by saying without even practicing. Something like practice? I don't need that. I can still do this. For example.
はい。テスト勉強なんかしなくてもテストでいい点が取れます。
Without even studying, something like studying, without even studying or doing something like studying, I can get good grades on the test.
おー。
Not me.
練習なんかしなくてもピアノでショパンを弾けます。
Without practicing, without even doing something like practicing, I can play Chopin on the piano.
ショパンってショパン？
Chopin. I think so. Actually, I did do pretty good on tests without studying. I don't think I very, very rarely studied for tests. Almost never. Maybe like
自慢してるわ。マジ自慢だわ。
テスト勉強なんかしなくてもテストでいい点取ってしまった。
いいね。
でも、まあ、数学は違うかな。Math was the only thing I needed to study for. Everything else is fine.
私は国語苦手なんだよな。
でも、国語はね、英語だとあんまり難しくない。Shh, don't be a bad influence. I'll try. I feel like my bar story already started me down on the wrong road. It was in that sense. But I didn't either. But, Yuki は結構勉強した？
全然。まあ15分ぐらいね。
あ、そう。じゃあユキも15分。
したよ。ちゃんとするやつはしたよ。
本当？
まあ勉強ってどういう風にするかっていうのもまあ人によって違うよね。
俺は多分
紙とペンでしたよ、ユキは。
高校の時は多分勉強したことがない。高校で。大学でちょっと勉強した。でも高校では勉強しなくても何にも簡単すぎだった。俺の高校ね。俺が頭が良かったんじゃなくて、多分周りの人が頭が良くなさすぎて全部が超簡単だったと思う。マジで。Not because I was smart. It made me think I was smart when I was a kid, when I was in high school. But as I got older, I realized that I wasn't smart. My high school was just really easy. So it's not really bragging. It's sort of just talking bad about my old high school, which is no longer exists. Masayama, how's it going?
はい、お
Probably
久し
Yuki.
ぶりです。
ね You can find out Bologna.
そうなの、
ボロニアン
ボロニアソーセージパン。
Sausage. From
フジパン。メーカーね。
Is that like the same as bologna from the States, Masayama? Is it like this about this thick and super spongy? Actually, I don't hate it. I've eaten it. I have to be in the mood.
テクスチャーが良くないってことはなんかスポンジーなの？
A little bit.
あれみたいな感じ？高野豆腐？
No.
あ、そうっすか。
No. It's like meat, but not. It's
これも
interesting.
豆腐ミート。
ス
ポンジ
ちょっと違う。
そうっすか。
お、これはもしかして
ありがとうマイコ。頑張ってくれたんだ。ありがとうございます。クラスで僕ならではの自慢ですが、勉強や復習しなくても初等微積分の問題が解けます。クラスのトップでも僕に
教われました教わられました
クラスのトップでも僕にどういうことだろう。どっちなんだ。教わりましたか。クラスのトップ
でも彼がその人に教えたってこと。クラスのトップの人にも教えたってこと。
クラスのトップの人にも、クラスのトップにも僕が教えましたが、クラスのトップどっちだクラスのトップはこれでも僕に教わりましただよね。やっぱりクラスのトップでも僕に教わりました。Give
her a second. I'm not sure. I can't help you with this one.
クラスのトップでもこのワードオーダーでいくと
Calculus ね。微積分。
そうそう、はい、クラスのトップでも僕に教わりました。
教わりました。
そう。
クラスのトップでも僕から教わりました。
そう。クラスのトップそうそうそう。
教わりました。だと大丈夫だそうです。
はい。
ね。
がクラスのトップにも僕が教えましたの方が。
やだ、文法を忘れてしまいました。そうだ
よね。
やだ、私もそこが難しいやつ。難しいやつだよ。パシフとかいい。
そうそう。
難しいぞ。
どっちがね、主語になるかだよね。なんか。はい。
教えましたなら主語は
そうそう
マイクでしょ。
そうそう、僕だから。
でも逆だとクラスのトップが主語になるので教わりましたになるんだけど、マイクルが主語だと教えましたね。はい。主語 is subject かな。subject. So it depends on who the subject is.
はい。
Cue time from Felipe.
はい、ありがとうございます。子供の時練習なんかしなくても両手で歩けた。すごい、逆立ちして歩けるってこと？
For a second I thought he said both feet and I was like, well, good for you.
それや、どういうことだよ。
すごい。Without practicing, you're able to walk on your hands. That's pretty cool.
すげえ。
I was never good at that. I tried many times, but I always failed. It's not easy.
ランダムスクイートさんがまたランダムに現れています。
練習なんか
しなくても魔法を使えます。
すごい。魔法使えるスクイートがマジ恐ろしい。
それマリオじゃん。
魔法使えるのマリオ。
まあ使えないけど、違うスーパーマリオの世界ではさ、
インクだよ、インク。
まあね。
あれ。
まあインクか。
そう、インク。
魔法じゃないのね。
魔法じゃない。
インク。
I don't think the squids in Mario can use magic. They just spit out ink, which is more like octopuses. But anyway.
すごい、フェリペまだできるんだ。
クラスのトップにも教えました。
そう、それだったら
どうでしょうか。それでいいよ。Lately I still can, but very poorly. Fair enough. I might be able to do it better now than I could when I was a kid, actually. I have more upper body strength. It's crazy tricky. Yes, indeed. All right, that was good. The next section is What on Earth with いったい plus a question word plus sometimes ka. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I've cut this part. I've cut from here onto the end in the live stream play, like the replay. So if you go to the replay of the live stream from last week, I've cut this. I've cut everything from here on because I was exhausted last week and I just gave some bad information and I didn't feel comfortable leaving it up online because I just made too many mistakes. So I cut it and I re-recorded both of these sections completely and they're in the stream cut. So if you have access to the website right now, the stream cut's available. Otherwise, the stream cut will go live tomorrow because I forgot to put it up yesterday when it should have gone live. So I'll make it live tomorrow. But anyway, that's all newly recorded. We recorded the whole Ittai and the next one. So just so you know, one of the things that I said wrong during this section, Ittai, which means what the heck or what the hell, is that I said for some reason, stupid reason, at the beginning I said you don't always need the question word, but Ittai will always have a question word. I was thinking something different when I said that because I was half asleep. But the question word is something like dare, dore, nani, douyate, stuff like that. So, 一体誰が何々をしました? You're always going to have a question word. The only thing that's going to be optional sometimes with 一体 is whether it ends in the ka question marker or not. And that's going to be very dependent on how polite you're trying to make it. Anyway, it just means what the heck. And we have one example sentence to remind you of it since we already did go over it last week. And that is...
あそこに人が集まっているね。一体何があるんだろうか?
There are people gathered over there, aren't there? What the heck do you think it is? あそこに, so over there, 人が, so people, they're the subject, 集まっているね. There are people gathered, aren't they? 一体, so what the heck, 何があるんだろうか? So what the heck do you think it is? 一体 cannot be used in a formal situation, right? Says Felipe. どうかな? I've heard it. I've heard it in formal situations. In formal situations, you probably wouldn't translate it as what the hell. Maybe what on earth. That's how Quartet translates it. But I've seen it used in situations that I definitely wouldn't even go as far as to say what on earth or what the heck. Like, it just seems like it's more emphasizing the question a lot of like, what is happening? So it seems like a lot of emphasis is going on, but I'm not sure.
なんかまあさよくさ私たちが使ってるさダイアログ上司と上司と部下とか部長とかそういう会社の中では、なんか一体何々ってあんまり言わないけどなんか多分聞く機会があるとすればそのさ誰かのスピーチとかなんかそのさ、なんかその話を盛り上げるためのなんていうの、なんかアトラクティブポイントみたいな感じで一体何々が一体どうしてこうなっているのでしょうかみたいなその疑問をさオーディエンスに聞くときとか、あとは
You'll hear it in speeches and stuff like that. You might not necessarily hear it in like a very super formal business situation, but you'll hear it in slightly more formal situations. So it's not necessarily just a casual expression. Our question time for this section is...
はい、あなたの周りで不思議なことが起きています。〇〇が起きた。一体何が〇〇なんだろうという文章を作ってください。
So you're going to have to use a lot of imagination for this one again, sorry. But we basically want you to imagine a strange thing is happening around you. Or maybe there really is something that strange has been happening about. Maybe there really is something strange that's been happening around you. So you can go ahead and use this to explain something happened. And then you're going to ask, what the heck is going on, basically. And some examples are?
突然荷物が届いた。一体何が届いたんだろう
So suddenly, something was delivered. Or a package was delivered. What the heck was delivered? Because the person didn't know that they were getting a delivery. So they're saying, what the heck was delivered? What on earth was just delivered? The next one is?
先生に呼び出された。一体何が原因なんだろう
So I was called in by the teacher. Called in maybe to the teacher's room or something. 一体何が原因なんだろう So 原因 is the reason for something. So what the heck is the reason, I wonder. So go ahead, your turn.
あと一体が使われてるのは結構さあれニュース
On the news. Oh, okay.
に結構出てるよね。なんか、出てる気がする。
はい。誰が何を聞いてるとき？
例えばこういう事件が起きてとか事故が起きたりしたときに、そのさアナウンサーとか、 の人とかが一体どうしてこんななんか
ことがあったんでしょうか。
一体何が原因なんでしょうかとか、そう。
It seems to more just emphasize the lack of understanding of what's going on. So yeah, it can be used in formal situations, it seems. So Yuki's saying it's quite frequently heard on the news even. So when there was like an accident or something and the person's saying, 一体何が原因なんでしょうか? So I wonder what could have caused such a thing? So something like that, right? Thank you for doing these lessons. I'm not fully caught up yet, but I do like them a lot. I'm happy to hear that I got a banana. Good name.
Yay!
Bananas for you.
ありがとうございます。私からかな
Here's a banana.
前回も来てくれたよね。
ありがとうございます。Thank you. This
一体に怒り感が含まれていますか？怒り感はね、含まれてないと思います。サプライジング感が含まれてると思います。
So, surprised. Even in English, like, what on earth? Or what on earth just happened? Or what the heck just happened? There's no anger in that. It's an expression of, surprise or bewilderment. Bewilderment might be a better word. Many people, when they hear what the heck, may think of what the heck are you doing? But the anger in that expression isn't actually really the what the heck, I feel like. It's in the tone of voice more so. What are you doing? What are you doing would be just as angry sounding as the other sentence. And in Japanese, I don't think there's any anger in the ittai. It's more just emphasizing the bewilderment or the lack of understanding or I don't know what's going on. What the heck is going on?
まあそうやってね、その誰かに何かを注意するとかワーニングする、なんか警告したりするときには同じようにさ、英語と。
You can use it the same way. Yeah. So you can use it when you're upset about something as well. 一体何やってるんだよ。
そうそう。例えばね、あなたのお家の庭に来て、なんかポットをゴソゴソしてるとかを見つけてしまったとき、一体何やってるんですかって。
So you can use it in situations when you're upset as well. But the upset part isn't in the grammar itself. That's not part of that. 台所が。
はい。ありがとう、ベリベ。はい。台所が臭いです。匂うぜ。これはゲボイカの匂いがプンプンするぜ。誰も気づいてない。誰も気づいてない。はい。一体何を買ったんだろう。多分、納豆。
納豆？そうかもしれない。So the kitchen smells bad. What the heck did someone buy? 多分、納豆? Did possibly 納豆? I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with 納豆, says Felipe. No worries. I like it.
私の冒険今伝わらなかった。
俺は次の文まで見てたから、
私も
あんまり聞いてなかった。ごめん。どこからのボケ？これは
癖からだよ。これは癖。ゲロイカの匂いがプンプンするぜ。
なんだっけそれ。
もうみんなここ今日来てくれてる人たちにはジョジョ見てる人どのぐらいいるんだろう。
それはポルナルフが言った言葉
じゃない。それだったっけ？
誰言った？
ポルポルじゃなかったと思う。
ポルじゃないの？誰？
これは癖。ゲボイカの匂いがプンプンするぜはあれだ。パパウパウパウじゃない？
誰？
シーザーのゼペリじゃない？
ゼペリってどれだっけ？
最初の人、波紋のおじさんだよ。
最初のそうそれは結構前見てたのがもう忘れた。
でもそれじゃなかったかな。これは癖。違う。あれかな。リオだったかな。でも違うよね。
知らん。
はい、もうわかりません。
台所が臭かったのそのシーンに。
違うよ。大丈夫、みんな。
すいません、また漫才が始まってこういう風によくある。俺が突っ込まなくてさ。
ランダムスクイートがランダムに集まっている。ちょっと見に行くか。
お願いします。
魔法が使えるイカが病院に集まった。一体何が起きたんだろう。
なんだろうな。魔法使えるイカが病院に集まっちゃったらさ、ちょっと怖いね。
気になりますね。
ジョナサン・ジョースターが言ってたの？
本当？これちょっと調べて絶対書いてあるから。
はい、何？
はい、これは癖。
これは癖。
A。
これはあ、出た。
あ、こいつは癖。ほら、ゲロイカの匂いがプンプンするぜ。
これ
そうそうそう。あ、SP ワゴンさん。
SP ワゴンだったか。あー、覚えてる。そうか。ディオがバレた時か。
そう。
ディオ、I feel like I can't show this. This will probably get me copyright striked. I feel
ほ
like...
ら、ほら。
Okay. スピードワゴン。
そうだよ。
ワゴンが言ったか。
SP ワゴンさんです。
SP ワゴンさんが言ったか。
はい。
それは結構前見たんだな。
そうだよ。そうやってランダムジョジョネタもね、行きますから。
そう
ランダムジョジョ。
残念ながらね、ユキぐらい見てないから、そういうやつはまだ覚えてないんですよ。
はい、わかりました。
昨日見たやつぐらいまで覚えがあるかもしれないね。俺の中。
あ、そう。
Q time for Loopy!
はい。昨日の窓は、昨日の窓は開ける。一体何が届いた？
昨日の窓
開いているかな？昨日。
幽霊？
一体何が届いたんだろう。昨日の窓とは何でしょうか。昨日閉めたはずの窓が開いている。
We'll have to ask. What are you're talking about a window that is opened, perhaps? Yesterday, the window you opened? Sorry, cross.
クロスの昨日窓は
ちょっと待って。
クロスの
Cross, no.
のは使わないってことじゃない？
昨日窓はDo you want to say the window was that you opened yesterday, or the window from yesterday is opened, or I wanted to say the window opened. Okay. So 届いた means to be delivered. So 起きた is the word you'd want to use here. So 一体何が起きたんだろう is probably what you want to say. So 昨日窓が開いていた。勝手に開いてたかな。勝手に開いてた。一体何が起きたんだろう。Okay. So that's where there was a little bit of confusion there. So 届く equals deliver. 起きる means to happen, to occur. So you're looking for 起きる。何が起きたんだろう。そう、昨日じゃなくて。
昨日。
Why does that ever... Is that the first thing for 昨日? This is clearly the one I want every time. 昨日、窓が勝手にね。You don't have to have this, but 勝手に
開いていた、
would make it more obvious that it happened out of its own accord. 開いていてた。開いてた。そう。開いていた。一体何が起きたんだろう。Okay.
はい。
There you go.
幽霊かな。
リュウジ good to see you. How you doing? It's been a while.
久しぶり。
久しぶりだね。
この机の上にウツボカズラの花がある。子供の時に植物園よりも持ち去ったから持ってきたからだね。
持ってきたからか。何の花？
ウツボカズラって多分
Pitcher plant.
鼻につけるやつ？
わかる。
ピンクのやつだよね。
こういう
でかい？
結構でかいと思う。
それうつどんのやつ？
こういうやつ結構。
これポケモンにいるよね。
そう、ポケモンに出る。これ。見たことある？
ウツボットだ。ウツボット？
わからん。
見たことない。
結構大きい。
すごい、これ植物園から持ってきていいの？
Pitcher plant ね。ほう。この時に植物園よりから、持ってきた。より持ってきた。brought it from the pitcher plant.
まあ、より持ち去ったからってことですね。
持ち去ったから。はい。
stole
it, right? 持ち去った。
こりゃやべえ。
I stole it.
はい。
Maybe a ghost appeared on the window, perhaps.
ねえ。
Yeah, Kino is always the first result in the IME, but Kino is clearly more common. Are they in alphabetical order? I don't know. Sometimes the IMEs are just really bad. Sometimes they will learn. I'm currently using Google IME, and that Kino is also the first one for some reason for Kino. Every time. Oh, this time it went to regular Kino. But I bet you tomorrow it'll be back to the machine for some reason. Why? Not machine. Kino is
うん。
yeah.
なんかやっぱりさ、パソコンがさ、ちょっとさ、新しいとさ、あれ
Function
だよね。うん。
Mm.
だって私のさ、先々週のさ、
No, you asked. Okay, so then you didn't steal it. 持ってきた。
あ、素晴らしい。よかった。
持って帰ったかな。
犯罪してる人がいなくてよかったです。
持って帰った。
はい。
書いたた。持って帰った。Okay, sweet. Michael.
はい。昨夜、痛い痛いと叫んでいた小さな声が響いた。そして今朝、死体一体が見つけられた。一体何が起きたのでしょうか。
やばい。
こりゃやべえやつじゃないでしょうか。
ありがとう、ダン。Wow, that's crazy. Yesterday, I heard a small voice echoing, "It hurts, it hurts." Then, this morning, one body, and there's a play on words there because ittai is one body as well, が見つけられた。
まあ、見つかったかな。
見つかった
う
ね。
ん。ごめんね、ピッキーで。
何が起きたのでしょうか。
死体一体が見つかってるから起きたことが、
うん、すぐわかるんじゃないですか。Are you, well, でも誰がやったとかはわからない。
まあね。
Are you talking about the prediction system when you type something? Can you change the engine for that? I guess on Windows I'm using Microsoft. Yeah, I downloaded the Google IME. I prefer it slightly to the Windows IME. I'm not sure which is better. I feel like the Google one is slightly more customizable. But I use Google. I still have the Windows one, the Microsoft one. But Google is the one that I use for my IME at the moment. Yes. And that's just for typing in Japanese. Whether both of their predictions are pretty bad in the beginning. But they get better with time usually. If the same person is using the computer for a long period of time and typing in Japanese a lot, it eventually gets a little bit better at predicting what you want to say.
私まだマイコのさ、コメントにひっついてるんですけど。
あ、はい。
本当の話？
そんなことないだろ。
あ、
そんなことあるかもしれないけど、でもそんな綺麗に作ってやる文章はちょっとね、考えて作ったんでしょ、
まあね、
だから
そうだといいね、
昨日あったと思わないけど。
うん、
What is your favorite nut variety? And salted or unsalted? Mine's cashews. Salted. Ooh. Depends on my mood very much so. But I like pistachios unsalted. And macadamias unsalted. But I also like cashews unsalted. Mostly unsalted. Peanuts I prefer salted.
そうなんだ。なんかそれはさ、最近アンソルテッドのやつを食べてるからじゃない？
Yeah, but for the past couple years I prefer unsalted nuts.
でもソルテッド食べる超美味しいよ。
Of course they are, but this is a little bit too much. A little bit too much. I definitely prefer certain nuts without salt. But pistachios I'm a big fan of. They're just kind of hard to eat. Macadamia nuts, of course.
そうなんだ。
Though I am partisan to some macadamias occasionally, says Bara. Yes, they're quite good. We get the we've been recently getting the Costco, the big unsalted. It's got macadamias, cashews, almonds, pistachios.
なんだっけ、
Brazil nuts. I think that's it.
そうだね。
Pecan all the way, says Cameron. I like pecan pie. Pecans on their own, まあまあ。
ピーカンって美味しいの？
Pecan pie is really good.
まあね、そう。
どうかご安心を。作り話ですって。
あ、よかった。ありがとうございます。よかった、作り話で。
Can you type use questions as ウツボから
カズラの花がある？あ、
No, you can't use it that way.
でも言えるよ。ウツボカズラって一体なんだとかは言える。
Yeah, but that's not. You can't use it in the question. Do you have it? I see. In your second part, yeah. I thought you were asking if it could go into questions like the first one. Do you have it? そう。今、ユキが言った通り。うつぼからずらは一体なんだ Yeah, you have to have the 一体 before the question word though. Like 何 is the question word here. So 一体なんだ They get caught in my teeth. Yeah, they do tend to do that, but I don't mind.
まあそのオーダーは別にどっちでもいい気がするけどね。一体うつぼかずらってなんだでもいい。
このオーダー、違うオーダー話してるよ。何一体だって言えないってことだよ。一体なんだそのオーダーはいじれない。
そうだね、そこは。
それいじっちゃダメ。
はい、OK です。
We're gonna skip this one. We're gonna go on to the next. それがしたい。
大丈夫。大丈夫。何がから誰がに変わっただけなの。
we're gonna skip this one. Yeah, you want to have the question word after each time. Okay, we're gonna go on to the next section. This is another one that I had a hard time with last week. Reviewing quickly, we have it means may or may not, or it means hardly, having hardly done something, or hardly have enough of something. We have either the dictionary form of a verb or short form of a verb or the short past tense before the first ka. And this is the or the whether or not ka really. And the same verb in the short negative followed by another ka. And it means may or may not do this thing or hardly have done this thing. For example, the only example we have tonight is
今日現金が足りるか足りないかって感じだからカードで払うね。
Today I feel like I may or may not have enough cash, so I'll pay by card. Okay? So I hardly have enough cash is another way you could translate this. And that's that. The first question time for this one was
何をできるかできないかくらいの量、時間、場所しかないですか?
Okay, so just like in the stream cut where we did this all over again, I'm not going to tell you what this asks you. It'll make some more sense when we show you the example sentence, so I'm going to explain it through the example sentence. So, first example sentence is
アニメをもう一話見れるか見れないかくらいの時間しかない。
So we're going to go backwards in this sentence. We have shikanai, so nothing but, jikan, time, kurai, so this is about, mireru ka mirenai ka kurai, so hardly enough time, nothing but, I have such a hard time with this. Shikanai, jikan, anime o mou hitotsu, mou ichi wa, so one more anime, mireru ka mirenai ka kurai, so about enough time, so no jikan, to watch one more episode of anime, shikanai. That's all I have. I only have enough time to watch maybe one episode of anime, basically. Okay, I explained that better in the stream cut. Hi, next one.
はい。もう一人座れるか座れないかくらいの場所しかない。
So working backwards from this one, it's shikanai again, so it's nothing but enough space, basho, where one person could, もう一人座れるか座れないかくらい, about enough space where one person may or may not be able to sit, or where one person could hardly sit. And kurai is very, very common with this ruka naika expression about hardly enough, things like that. So what we want you to tell us is we want you to describe a place or situation where there's nothing but hardly this. It's very hard to think of a sentence like this for myself, but hi.
そっか。
It's a weird one to think of
そう
out of nowhere. はい、どうぞ。
あと一杯コーヒーを作れるか作れないかくらいの量しかないです。
Okay. So there's only enough coffee to where I could make maybe one cup of coffee, like maybe one. We would never say anything this way in English, ever. So that's why it's so hard to explain this in English. Like I know what it means, no problem. But explaining it in English this is one of the first grammar points that I've encountered in Japanese that I find almost impossible to explain well in English or to translate well in English. Because we would never say it that way. We would say, we have just enough coffee to make maybe one cup or something like that. So going literal here, it's there's nothing but enough coffee where there may or may not be about enough to make one more cup. It just feels super weird going literal into English. I don't know how to explain this better, guys. I'm so sorry. I did do a better job in the stream cut, which I'll put out tomorrow once again, or if you remember the site, you can see it right away. It's kind of like kadoka, but not. Think of it like the word hardly. So ignore the verb and be like, I hardly have enough time to watch one more anime. Or there's only enough time to maybe watch one more anime is how you could think of that first sentence. So that mireru ka mirenai ka kurai means about enough where I could hardly do this. Something like that. Or about enough space where I could hardly sit. Where one person could hardly sit. So you can sort of think of it, maybe better is just to think of it as hardly. So the second one is there's only enough space where about one person could hardly sit. So that might be thinking about it. Question time. の文章くらいの部分もyes. Yes.
まあね、私がね、そのくらいもよくさ、一緒に使うからという理由で青
I see. Here it's also blue, but here it's not blue. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
ごめん。
It probably shouldn't be blue here, but it is very, very frequently used with this. As is the no particle with something like jikan or basho or amount of something. Very, very common to have it follow have a no particle and then something like time with this expression. You'll see it a lot. 文章はわかりましたけど、そう考えようとしたらそう黒ですね。その通りでございます。
あとフェリペのlike かどうかの文法ポイントはとは違います。って言った？
言った。
あ、そうですか。
Yeah.
はい。
It's different from the かどうか。But it's the ka, I believe, comes from that sort of grammar, but the meaning ends up being a bit different, which is part of what trips me up. Part of what makes it hard to explain it. 見れるか見れないかくらい means I always want to say about enough time to do something, but it's hardly enough time to watch, I think. Hardly enough time to watch. But then having that shikanai again after it is like a double, triple negative. I don't know what's going on there. It's very difficult. Sorry. ね。
確かにね。
Double negative, I guess.
まあでも見れないか。
しかない。
そうそう。でも見れないかっていう部分は。
You kind of just have to ignore that whole thing. You have to ignore the words themselves. 座れるか座れないか. You want to say can or cannot sit is what I want to say there. But you ignore it and say hardly sit. Although in Quartet, the translation is may or may not be able to sit. くらいの場所しかない。
はい、マイコーから。
はい。
最初は何々しようがしまいがとは似てるかなとは聞きたかったんですが、全然違うんだなと気づきました。そうだね。そうしようがしまいが。まあそうだね。
It's different.
そうそう。しようがしまいがはしてもしなくても。
Whether or not. Yeah. Once again, in the stream cut I did a little bit better, but then I sort of lost the plot when it came to explaining it again tonight. I had it on the last live stream and when we did this question time. I feel like I explained it well. And then I lost that explanation. Just flew out of my mouth. I mean, the sentence makes sense until you try and translate it in English.
難しいね。
Just enough space where maybe one person could sit. はい。何ですか？
誰かが答えできるかできないかくらいの難しさです。Q time がね。
It's a difficultness where someone could hardly answer or may not be able to answer.
そう。ごめんね。ちょっとこの文とは全く違う。
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's that I have a hard time. I haven't been able to formulate a good explanation for this yet. And I'm sorry about that, guys. I should have come up. I thought I did. And then when I sat down tonight, I realized it isn't solid enough in my head yet to explain it.
日本人だからそういうのがすぐ出んのかな。だってこれは結構言うよね。あと間に合えるか間に合えないかくらいだからちょっと遅れるって言っといてみたいな。
いやでもそうやって聞くとさ、わかりやすいよ。でもその文章を英語に日本訳しようとすると、なんかわかんなくなっちゃう。The sentence on its own makes perfect sense. Translating it, I lose all the meaning, I feel like. So can you say that sentence you just said one more time?
なんか間に合えるか間に合えないかくらいだからもう先生に言っといてみたいな、電話とか
That's a different sentence than you just said, but yeah. You're saying that I might not make it, basically. I might not be able to make it, so let the teacher know, is what you said. But what you translate what that translation would be is at the point where, well, actually, that's different than this. That's way easier than this, because there's extra nouns and then shikanai and things like that. 間に合えるか間に合えないかぐらいだから先生に言っといてってもっとわかりやすい。It's about that time where I may or may not make it on time, so please tell the teacher. That's easy to translate. It's the くらいの場所しかない on top of the 座れるか座れないかぐらいの場所です。
そっか、じゃあ私それしかないにすると結構さスペシフィックになってわかりやすいかなと
How did I explain that in the live stream? Let me pull up the stream and let's see if I past Andy explained it better. Let's turn on desktop sound. Desktop audio is on. Go to YouTube Studio. Content. The stream cut right here. That is unlisted. Shame on me. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to
we're
the
gonna jump
Quartet
over to
Lesson 9, Part 1,
Gudai.
where Okay, here we go. Ready? Question time. Let's let him explain it.
何をできるかできないかくらいの量、時間、場所しかないですか？
Instead of explaining this one, we're actually going to look at an example sentence first, because in this structure, this gives us a structure, but it's very hard to explain it in the way it is without a gutaiteki, a realistic explanation. So let's look at the example sentence.
はい。アニメをもう一話見れるか見れないかくらいの時間しかない。
Okay, so we're going to start from the end of this sentence. Shikanai means there's nothing but. Shikanai, nothing but. Jikan, there's nothing but this amount of time. And how much is that amount of time? Well, it's the anime o mo ichiwa, so one more episode of anime. Mireru ka, mirenai ka kurai no jikan. It's about the time where I could hardly or just barely watch one more episode of anime. The next one is?
もう一人座れるか座れないかくらいの場所しかない。
So starting from the end of this one again, shikanai means there's nothing but basho. So this place, and what is the place? Mo hitori suwareru ka suwarenai ka kurai. About the amount of space, the place, where maybe one more person could or could not sit, or a person could hardly sit. There's about as enough space where one person may or may not be able to sit, right? So we want you to make a sentence like this, describing some place or some situation where you only have this much amount of time, or you only have this much amount of space to put something somewhere, or something like that. So that's your challenge for this one. Sums up. Okay. Did that make more sense? I hope so.
ユキセプションだ。
Yukiception. Let's bring that back up. Hey. I hope that made a little bit more sense. I think I was a little bit more smooth there. Let's see. A bunch showed up here. I can understand. Sometimes I have to go from Japanese to English and then Spanish to properly get the grammar point, and some stuff is not even the same word. Or does that make sense in Spanish? Yes. 僕の部屋はあと一つの、そうだね。
僕の部屋はあと一つ箱を置いておけるか置いておけないかくらいの場所しかないんです。いいですね。
そうですね。Good. Yeah. So there's about enough space where you could or couldn't put one more box. Like just about enough space to maybe put one more box. はい。Undeception. So cool. You guys can quote yourselves.
まあ置いておけるか置いておけないかでも全然いいんだけど、 なんかね、2個、そのさ、コンバインドバーブの時は、後のバーブをネガティブにするだけでいいと思う。置いておけるか置けないか
Ah,
だ
okay.
け
So you
で。
don't actually need
そ
to
うそうそう
conjugate it.
そうそう。
You could just put 置いておけな、置けるか、置けないか。Interesting. That's new for me. Okay, cool. Yukiception も。
はい。
Fast Andy really explained it best. I agree, 100%. He had it on. He wasn't tired from explaining all the other ones already. He only had to do that one that day. Well, and いったい。Good. はい。
はい。ありがとうございます。ミントチョコレートアイスが好きな人をもう一人作れるか作れないかくらいの魔力しかない。
I only have enough magical powers left to make maybe one more person who can fall in love with mint chocolate. The only thing you gotta change there is you need to put the na adjective between ski and hito. 好きな人。はい。
素晴らしいですね。はい。
はい、リュウジ。
俺の庭にウツボカズラが生えるか生えないかくらいの土しかない。
Oh, perfect. がある。You don't need the がある。しかない is aru. It's the negative of aru, right? So shika is a particle that modifies that nai, the negative. For example, shika taberenai would mean I can eat nothing but some, right? Can eat only this thing. So shikanai is the negative of aru there. So shikanai means not have nothing but, or I don't have anything but.
その部分のグラマーポイントやってないんだっけ？
やってある。結構、でも結構昔ね。So, but the rest was perfect. Yes. So it's shika nai. So it's the particle shika plus nai. So if you just get rid of the ga aru, your sentence is fine. So in my garden, there's just enough space where I may or may not be able to plant one more pitcher plant. Perfect. Okay. We got it in the end there, guys. Well, past Andy got there in the end with the explanation. And you guys, present you guys got there tonight. Okay, last question is...
はい。あなたがその〇〇を見たのは何をするかしないかの時でしたか？
Let's go into the example answers.
私がそのニュースを見たのはコーヒーを飲んだか飲まないかの時でした。
Okay, so when I saw that news, it was when I had hardly drank my coffee, or when I was just in the middle of drinking my coffee, had just drank my coffee. はい。
はい。私が安藤さんを見たのは会社を出るか出ないかの時でした。
So when I saw Ando-san, it was when I had hardly walked out of my company, or when I had hardly left work. Okay. You saw something. When was it? Use this to explain it. You can think of this as like when I had hardly finished doing something. So like when I just finished drinking my coffee. Like I just finished. Like just then. So just when I finished drinking my coffee, I saw the news. Just as I had finished drinking my coffee. Or maybe there was a little bit left. Maybe there was like this much left. I just finished. And then when I saw Ando-san, 私が安藤さんのを見たのは when I just left my work. Maybe my one foot was in the door and one was out. I had just left. Hardly left. So you're going to make up a story. I saw this person when I had just walked out of Tokyo. I don't know.
そうだね。
Something like that. Question.
はい。再び飛びずれなんですけど、ゆきさんとアンディさん、長い熟語の言葉が読めますか？例えば辞書から見た独立行政法人と個人情報保護法。独立行政法人と個人情報保護法。その等はどこにかかっているんでしょうか？とかな。違うよね。
Is it all one word or is there a to in there? I think that's one word.
そうなのかな。独立行政法人で、行政法人ってさ、そのドキュメンティングじゃない？それ。のカンパニ
ー。など。など。
などかな。とじゃない？この場合。全部漢字だとさ、割と音読みじゃない？ で、個人情報保護法は、なんか、プライバシー、なんか、プロテクションロー。
はいはいはい。うん。で、質問は、再びトピックずれるんですけど、ユキさんとアンディさん、長い熟語の言葉が読めますか？例えば、
私は読めると思う。
it'll take it takes me, I'm not as fast as her. I think she has zero problems reading that. I could read it. I could read that one in particular if I had a few seconds. It would take a little bit, but yeah. So is that the question? Can we? Is that all? Or did you have another question about like how to break them down or something? 辞書から取ったんです。取ったんです。
これが一つのさ、言葉だったらさ、独立行政法人等ってことは、そのアドミニストレーションみたいなことの、に関する。
Laws in relation to them, in relation to that administrative law, but I don't think it will show up. Oh, it does show up.
Oh!
It's the name of a law. Law for the protection of personal information retained by independent administrative institutions. Okay.
やっぱりほら、読み方、独立行政法人と個人情報保護法。
そこどこに書いてそこね。独立行政法人と個人情
報保護法。
So it all is one word. Sort of. It's the name of something. Okay. そんな言葉はどうやって翻訳するのでしょうか？はいはい。
まず、それ、breaking down ですよ、それこそ。
Yeah, you break it down into its individual parts. So the first part you figure out is independent administrative or an institution, agency, something like that.
そう。
And then
等はそれにかかるだから、その、about that ってことでしょ。
about
that thing. その administration thing のことでしょ。
うん。
の個人情報保護法だから。
That to is a little bit confusing for me, for sure. I'm not super familiar with that to, outside of nado usage. So connecting two different words. So it's ranking it.
コネクティングしてないよ。コネクティングしてない。
So what's it doing?
独立行政法人など。
Nado. So it is being used as nado. It's just being read as
so
to.
Means
okay.
Nado.
So you break that down and you break the nado into its parts. So independent administrative corporations, etc. 個人情報保護, which is personal information protection law. So you'd break that down as personal information protection law for independent administrative corporations and such. But words that long are generally already going to be translated somewhere. Like, it's super official, right? There's not a ton of actual words that you'd need to break down into a translation. Like, there's an official name for this, and that's the Law for the Protection of Personal Information Retained by Independent Administrative Institutions. So, like, that's the name of a law. That's all. So, for those, I would probably just search it, but you could figure that out pretty well. Information retained by independent administrative institutions. Yeah, that's basically how I broke it down, right? Personal information protection law for independent administrative corporations. So it's very close. You just break it down into its individual parts. 僕もそのとの文字でそう引っかかりました。Yeah, me too. I wasn't sure what was going on there, but I guess it's for that kind of places and things like it. So it's actually used as nado.
そう意味はねnadoだよ。
But when you have it all in a big word, you just read it as to.
Makes sense. はい。
So it's the Japanese version of GDPR. I don't know what GDPR is, but it's possible. Yeah. I had trouble figuring out what the verb ought to be. For his own sentence. For his own sentence. Up above. Yeah.
紅茶を飲んだか飲まないかの時で、なんて読むんだろう。サビトンボだって。
トンボか。トンボ。I've never seen the kanji for トンボ。
ごめんね。
It's a very high level kanji, I think, right there.
紅茶を飲んだか飲まないかの時で、トンボが俺の茶碗の上に降りた。止まったってことですかね。
止まったかね。はいはい。Everything else was fine. Actually.
時 にかなこの時は。
時にね。
そうそう。
時に。
その後にさ、文章が続くからね。
うん。そう、時に。
うん。トンボが。そう、時に。
So we have toki de here, but that's just because it's ending.
そう、でしたのでだから。
でした。We're using this. It's not de. I'm sorry. It's でした。
そうそうそう。
Gotta look at the sentence a little bit closer. I completely forgot about this whole question time after the really long word thing. Toki ni, and then you've continued the sentence instead of ending it on deshita. So you have to have ni instead of de there. And then when things come down onto something, you say tomaru. They stop on the thing. So toki ni and 俺の茶碗の上に止まった。俺の茶碗の上に止まった。
はい。
はい。
そう、トンボはね、カタカナかひらがなが今は多分。
These days ね。
そうそう。
Most people probably, not most people, well, a lot of people probably can't read the kanji for トンボ。
でもあれ難しい小説とか昭和の小説とか結構ハイレベルな小説は多分漢字です。
I think a lot of high level books even nowadays might have the kanji, but they'll have 振り仮名。
あ、そうそうそうそう。日本人でもね読めないやつは振り仮名振ってあるからね。
Even for adults. So you can put either, but generally speaking, you'd want to add 振り仮名 or something if you were writing it yourself. That tomata is to sleep somewhere. To sleep over somewhere. So you want to use the kanji that we use there. いい、全然大丈夫ですよ、マイク。俺も何か学びましたので。I learned that など can be used as と in the middle of words to still mean など。Very interesting. いいですね。
多分ね、そのリュウジさんが読んでるその時代の古い感じの小説は結構トンボとかは漢字で書いてあるかも。
In older books and stuff, probably in kanji. So things that, well, I know you like older books and stuff, Yuji. So you'll probably say it if you read older books in Japanese. All right. Well, that brings us to this. Thumbs up を攻撃してください. Please smash the thumbs up button. If you didn't like this, hit the thumbs down twice. It has to be twice. Otherwise, it doesn't count. チャンネル登録お願いします.
はい、お願いします。
Please subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when we go live next time. And thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. And it looks like we have one more question time before we go. And that is from a random squid that just floated by.
ありがとうございます。ミントチョコレートアイスの店を見たのは病院を出るか出ないかの時でした。
Okay, nice.
仕事が無事終わってるじゃないですか。
When I saw the mint chocolate ice cream, it was right when I had just about left the hospital.
お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。
あれはリチュアルは成功したんかなそのミントチョコレートアイスフォロワーの。
古い感じ。はい、そうね。Noya says subscribe, people. Yes, please. おやすみなさい、ルンピさん。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much, everyone.
みんなお疲れ様でした。
Want more Japanese practice? Go here comparing 3 or more things.
ねえ。ボーナスのやつもね、結構いい感じだと思うけど。
Forgot the link. Huh?
ポガタリンクか。
ボーナス？
そう、ボーナスのビデオのやつも結構なんか面白い気がする。なんかボーナスセンテンスビデオね。そのコンテンツの。
はい。
それは結構なんか面白い気がするんですけど。
ないか暗いかないかこのやつ？
このやつじゃなくて全部その考えてる。
the bonus grammar sentence videos?
そうのカテゴリーが。
the bonus sections of those videos have some interesting sentences, yeah.
そう。割とそれを聞くだけでなんか分かりそう。その文のさ、コンストラクション。
そうだね。You go into quite a bit of details. Thanks, Dan.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Yes, indeed. はい。We finished another one.
はい。
Next week, it's lesson 9 part 2. It should probably actually be
我古き漢字あり。どう思いますか？ I should probably actually be そう
これより、
名前に
これより、これかなって。
そうだね。
そうかも。
そうだね。私は古い漢字を知っていますってことだけどね。
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Yuki. Thanks for stopping by.
本当だよ。ありがとうございます。久しぶりだったね。
Yeah.
はるかぶりでした。それって方言？
何かぶり？
はるかぶり。
はるかぶり？結構前ってこと？
そうそうそう。
I've never heard it before.
それって方言かな？
飯田飯田の方の方言 It might be local. I'm not sure. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out tonight. We will see ya for the next one. 考えるのに遅かった。今まで一番難しかったと思いますね。そうだね。いや、大丈夫ですよ。Yeah, these are pretty hard. Unless people have these ones, this type of question, I think they're useful, but this type of question, unless people have them ahead of time, I feel like it's pretty difficult to come up with them on the spot. So for lesson 9, part 2, we'll try to keep the question times a little bit more.
そうだよね。
Not fill in the blank necessarily, but a little bit less time, less hard on the imagination.
そう、クイックイマジネーションでできる感じ。
Yes, we'll definitely go with that.
私、
As the-
結構頑張ってんだけど。
As the grammar points get harder and harder and harder, it's harder and harder and harder to come up with simple enough questions for a format like this. But there's only 5 more, so
そっか。
there's only 5 more. Wow.
5 lessons more ってことでしょ？ 5 lessons
10,
more.
1. Oh, no. There's more. I'm wrong.
9.
There's 9 more. Wait.
違う。9, 10.
9.2, 10.1, 10.2, 11.1, 11.2, 12.1, 12.2. There's 7 more. 7 more live streams, 7 more practice streams. So 14 more total streams in Quartet.
あれでもこれ9-1だったっけこれ？
Yes.
ってことは9-2か。
Yes. So there's 7 more total. More freeform? Yeah. Either more freeform, but more too freeform, and it's hard for people to think of something on the spot. So if it's too freeform, for this kind of format, it's difficult. If we were to give a question like 3 days before and leave it super freeform, people could come with their sentences and then just share them. But we tried that, and most people didn't end up looking at it at all. So instead of doing that, we stopped. But make them a little bit more reasonable. 小説家になれない理由がそうだね。まあ、しょうがないよ。はい。We had fun too, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great week. Fun stream tomorrow. Lots of gameplay from the game we've been playing together recently, as we talk about it on the podcast. In Japanese, of course, all in Japanese. And not next week, but on February 22nd, we're going to be releasing the Study by Grammar Point on the website, along with one of our first standalone lesson videos in a very, very long time. So look forward to that. Although it's going to be way too easy for you guys. But anyway, have a great night, guys, or a great day. 僕も楽しかった。ありがとうございます、マイコ。お疲れ様でした。みんな、また次のビデオで会いましょう。はい。
そこはでです。
でですね。はい。ありがとう。バイバイ。Planning to use these books to learn Japanese in 2022? We explain all the grammar from these books and more here on YouTube in detail. And on ToKiniAndy.com, we have tons of extra grammar explanations, interactive practice exercises with Yuki and I, native shadowing exercises so you can get practice speaking even when you're by yourself, tests, and even progress bars to track your progress through the book. We also plan on beginning to add tons of level-appropriate immersion material throughout 2022. We even have a new exclusive community for members where they can ask questions, help each other, and even play silly Japanese word games. Over 1,800 people have already utilized the ToKini Andy and Yuki premium content. Join the community today and kickstart your Japanese learning journey.